council members saying that he stalks my house. You've most recently seen them rescind my health benefits.
Some have questioned the legality of the withdrawn resignation, but Sarter says procedural steps were not followed, so it is invalid. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
It is 46 rainy degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the rain will finally move out later on this afternoon. The high will only get into the mid-50s today, but we're going to warm up tomorrow with plenty of sunshine. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Awaiting this morning's court appearance for the man charged with killing 8 people at spas around metro Atlanta almost 4 years ago. Robert Aaron Long is already serving 4 life sentences for each person killed at Young's Asian Massage Parlor in Cherokee County in March of 2021 after pleading guilty to that attack. Today's appearance, though, is in Fulton County, where he's charged with opening fire at 2 different spas along Piedmont Road, killing 4 others. Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis is seeking the death penalty there. Thousands gathered today in Selma, Alabama to mark 60 years since the key civil rights event known as Bloody Sunday. Meanwhile, a foot soldier marches again, remembering the past and showing concern for the future.
Kirk Carrington was only 13 when he decided to march for voting rights in 1965.
The Lord called upon us to do something.
First, he had to train to suppress his self-defense.
We learned how not to hit back.
On the Edmund Pettus Bridge, police attacked them every day with clubs, tear gas, and high voltage.
They didn't mind hitting you, and they didn't mind hitting you with a cattle prod. And they'd hit you with that, and you would literally go to your knees.
6 decades later, Carrington senses the need to keep fighting for human rights, and he's ready.
We've come too far to go backwards.
Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Well, today's the first day that workers with the Atlanta-based CDC can opt into a federal buyout offer, similar to what the Trump administration has offered other departments.
Federal workers at the Health and Human Services Department have until the end of the work week to figure out if they'll leave their jobs. If they do, they'll get as much as a $25,000 payment as part of President Trump's government cuts.
Yeah, Matt Piper reports the workers have between today and Friday to make a decision. The buyout offer was sent by email to about 80,000 HHS workers, including many at the CDC and the FDA. The Justice Department begins an investigation into allegations that spiking egg prices in the U.S. are a deliberate act.
Some lawmakers and advocacy groups are accusing top U.S. egg producers of coordinated efforts to restrict supply and inflate prices. According to the latest federal data, the average cost for a dozen eggs spiked to about $5. That is roughly a 15% jump from just the month before.
Correspondent Nancy Chen says it's believed bird flu outbreaks are the main driving force behind the big rise in prices, which the USDA predicts will continue to go even higher. And auto industry officials say a shortage of auto technicians will only get worse over the next several years. Alex Shelton with Ford says several factors contribute to the issue, which could see an industry shortage of more than 400,000 workers by 2028.
We know that the graduations from automotive technician programming aren't keeping up with the need for technicians.
He says a growing number of retiring auto technicians and the overall perception of the industry have also led to the shortage. It is 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. And we start on the wet roads out there. Triple team traffic. Here's Smile Mark McKay.
Breakdown on the connector. Judd just went to the shoulder thanks to a Hero unit that arrived 7585 southbound near William Street. That put extra pressure on the southbound ride on 75 and 485, leaving Buckhead and Brookhaven. Rolling through Brookhaven this morning, trying to get onto I-85. There's been a chore off of Claremont Road as crews still work after an early morning crash. They shut down the frontage road or access road, leaving Claremont Road between Claremont and North Druid Hills. Weekend crash still has utility work in crews on the scene in Buckhead in Sidney Marcus Boulevard westbound, shut down at Georgia 400. Watching 285 trouble. Ashley Frasca.
Left lane blocked on your way to I-20, the West Freeway. It's 285 south past Hollowell Parkway. Delays not quite back to South Cobb Drive yet. A little bit crowded as you're leaving Cobb County this morning on 285 east, crossing the Chattahoochee River, and some brake lights scattered on the east side. 285 north up from I-20 in spots past Lawrenceville Highway. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies with off and on rain showers through the afternoon, high 56. The rain tapers off just in time for the ride home this evening. Clear and cool tonight, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, the sunshine returns, much warmer, high 73. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, high 75.
Storm Tracker radar shows all of Metro Atlanta right now covered in those showers, and more on the way as we head through the morning. It is currently 43 degrees in Beaufort, 44 in Union City, 46 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
I should be saying it's 8:05 on the Mark Arum Show. It's 9:05. Honk your horn, raise your hand if you are sleepy after the time change. Welcome, everyone. Got a big show for you today in just a little bit. We're going to go up to the White House, the latest on what I'm calling ping-pong tariffs. Just going back and forth. What's the latest? Karen Travers is going to join us from the White House with the latest. Sad development over the weekend. We got more information on the death of Gene Hackman and his wife. Really, just gruesome details. Rory O'Neill's going to get us caught up to date in case you tuned out of the news cycle this weekend. I do not blame you. We've got a measles outbreak. We're going to update that, not locally, but we're going to do that. But first and foremost, the weekend highlighted, of course, by Longoria's birthday. How was your birthday, Stoic One? You had a good birthday?
Yeah, it was okay. We just laid low. Leslie was a little under the weather. I'm a little under the weather.
I hear it, yeah.
So we just had, all this different rain and cold and all this stuff.
You stay on that side of the takeout window.
But I ordered Papacitos.
Oh,
we got that takeout one night. So
there you go.
That was good. I got my cake that I got, my nothing but cake. So
beautiful. Remind me later in the show to tell you my Mark McKay Papacitos story.
Okay.
A little bit later on the show. Oh, I'm glad. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, Longoria. I had a good weekend. It's so funny. So I went to brunch buffet yesterday. I'm not going to tell you where, but Maya and I were scheduled to go to a brunch with her friends, but the friends' parents, we were going to celebrate with them, and the dad wasn't feeling good, so it canceled. But Maya had this brunch itch she wanted to scratch. So we went to a Sunday all-you-can-eat brunch place. I'm not going to tell you where, but and it's so weird. Normally when I go to those brunch places, maybe you can, back me up on this, Judd. I hit the carving station, right? Give me whatever they got, prime rib, turkey. I go heavy on that. If they got seafood like a shrimp cocktail, I'll crush that. Eggs Benedict, maybe. But I never go to the omelet station. Do you ever go to the omelet station at brunch buffets?
I love the omelet station, to be honest with you, yes.
The way I look at it is like, well, I can make an omelet for myself.
Well, that's true.
Right, so I never do the omelet station. But with egg prices so high, I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a freaking omelet. And now I rarely get an omelet at the omelet station because I want to get the stuff that, the Bananas Foster's French toast, like stuff that I can make a cheese omelet at home.
Right, that's true.
But I was like, I got to jump on with the egg prices so high, I got to get an omelet. And let me just say, very disappointing size of the omelet.
Really?
Egg prices have hit the omelet station at brunches. Normally, I believe it's like a 3-egg omelet they make. This was like a 1.5-egg omelet. It was a little tiny, which is fine.
Skimpy egg omelet.
It was tasty, but for the first time in years, I hit the omelet station because I was like, let me game the system. Eggs are so expensive. Let me go get an omelet. But I'm even seeing the egg prices limiting. It was a tiny little. It was an omelette tete. It was a little omeletini. It was just a little guy.
I guess if you asked for extra egg, that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, Peter Haralambous joins us from ABC. Sorry for that long intro, Peter, but it seems like on the daily, we're talking about egg prices here on the Mark Arum Show. Interesting new development on the price of eggs. Apparently, the Justice Department is in the early stages of investigating major egg producers over soaring egg prices. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so again, this is the very early stages of an investigation by the DOJ Civil Division to see if this soaring cost of eggs is being caused by something more than just the bird flu. We've seen this outbreak of avian flu kill about 160 million chickens. That's about 15% of the chickens here in the United States. And certainly that's contributed to this price to spike. But we've seen some whistleblower reporting. We have seen concern from lawmakers saying that there might be some corporate greed here. And we also have seen profits for the country's largest egg company skyrocket more than 300% this quarter. So all of this is kind of contributing to this broader picture. And the DOJ at this point is looking into it. Again, very early stages, just sending out subpoenas, basic fact finding. But, it's external pressure. And, if it's the case that there's something more here, coordination, price gouging for something as basic as eggs, that would be a pretty critical example of corporate greed. Again, egg manufacturers, though, are pushing back. They're saying that there's really nothing more to this price spike other than the avian flu.
Yeah, so Peter, they're looking for either price gouging, market manipulation, or both from these egg producers.
That's exactly right. And if it's the case that these prices are up just because there's very low supply at this point, because the bird flu and there's such massive demand, which we know is the case with eggs, nothing wrong with that. The problem would be if these companies, which have really consolidated in recent years, are coordinating to keep those prices high and to make an extra buck.
Would our listeners recognize any of, I'm going to use this term, big egg producers? Are these household names? Who produces and distributes most of the eggs in the United States? Do we know this?
That's actually a great question, because I've been kind of digging into this question, and kind of the names that come to mind with eggs aren't necessarily the names that actually are driving the market here. For example, you think of, for example, Eggland's Best. Eggland's Best is actually just kind of a franchise of eggs for various farms across the country. The real big player when it comes to eggs, the largest company in the United States is Cal-Maine Foods. They're number one when it comes to producing and distributing, and they've found themselves in hot water in the past. They lost a jury trial, for example, in 2023 related to a civil claim, and their profits, if you look at their SEC filings, because they're a publicly traded company, have indeed skyrocketed. I mean, we've seen this quarter a 340% spike in profits, and the last time the bird flu broke out, there was a similar spike, a tripling in profits, which they directly attributed to these rising costs, largely driven by the bird flu.
It is such a topic of discussion across kitchen tables across America. We've seen Waffle House add an egg surcharge, Denny's following suit, and everything is political these days. Might we read into the fact that maybe President Trump was like, we've got to get to the bottom of this because this is not a good economic story for everyone to be talking about? Do we think that that Trump nudged the DOJ and be like, hey, find out what's going on here?
I mean, at this point, we know there's immense political pressure related to these egg prices. This was one of the surprising driving things of the last presidential campaign, the high cost of groceries, the high cost of eggs. And there's even more pressure since those prices have continued to rise under the Trump administration. His administration has taken policy action to reduce the cost of eggs, and it seems as though the civil action, this investigation in the very early stages, is kind of checking their boxes to make sure that they're doing everything in their power to make sure these prices come down, whether it be policy-making decisions, prevention, or potentially, using the DOJ to ensure these companies are following the law.
We had reports on this, Peter, last week. I want to know if you've personally seen any bodegas in New York City selling Lucy's, one egg or two eggs at a time. Have you seen that personally yet?
I've seen bodegas selling three at a time. Kind of like a combo, not individually yet. So I have spoken to small businesses here in New York, and it's getting pretty dramatic in terms of how they're feeling this. One small business I spoke to, an owner of a diner not too far from our offices here in New York, is spending $70,000 more based on his calculations this year on eggs because of those soaring costs.
Wow, that is significant. Peter Haralambous, ABC News. Peter, great stuff as always. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks so much, Mark. Take care.
Not to harp on eggs, but Maya had to go to a second grocery store to find her eggs yesterday. And again, I got that little teeny omeletini at the brunch buffet on Sunday. It's an economic issue. Speaking of economic issues, President Trump was asked if he fears a recession. Coming up later on the show, we'll let you know what the president had to say. When we come back, though, sad ending to a story we've been following very closely here on the Mark Arum Show and at WSB Radio. The body of that missing boater, Lake Oconee, has been found. We'll give you the latest details next on 95.5 WSB.
News.
Atlanta police on the lookout
at the top and bottom of every hour.
2 people are dead and 19 others are injured after a small plane crashed.
And when it breaks.
Johnson with 218 votes right now, and it appears that would be enough to get him reelected House Speaker.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's breaking news station.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? Well, with Xfinity, you can. Hey, it's Mark Arum back with you. Do more of what you love in the places you go the most with internet and mobile together. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Whatever you're into, you love how fast you can do with Xfinity Internet and mobile together. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together, $30 a month for 1 year with no annual contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with store to bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet Plus, one unlimited welcome line, and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
This daylight savings, trade that lost hour for a summer day at Sea Island. Now through March 11th, book your summer getaway and enjoy a complimentary third night when you stay 2 nights at the Cloister or the Lodge. Or save 15% on a Sea Island cottage rental. Plus, make the most of your stay with a complimentary $300 resort credit for dining, activities, and more. Don't delay. Summer dates are filling fast. Visit seaisland.com/summer to reserve your spot. Terms and conditions apply.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
A popular retirement myth is that once you retire, taxes go away. Not so much. We're here with Aaron Vincent of the Vincent Financial Group, and let's talk about the importance of having a tax strategy, not just now, but into and through retirement.
Taxes will be your biggest expense in retirement. I love analogies. So whenever I was a kid, I got in trouble sometimes. When I reached a certain age, my parents gave me the option. They said, hey, you can either choose to get the spanking or you can choose to be grounded for the next week. The choice was mine. Do I want spanking? Like, you're going to choose the pain of right now? Ugh. Or you're going to choose the purgatory of pain of just the over and over again. Every day you wake up, your friends are playing outside, and you get to sit in your room and look out the window and watch them play because you chose the grounding because you didn't want the upfront pain. I mean, that's a tough choice to make. That's basically, in a nutshell, Mark, when you say, well, what can you do? What are some tax strategies? I'm here to tell you right now, we don't have a magic wand, and we can't just say, hey, come work with us, and no longer do you pay taxes anymore. That's just not real. There are definitely strategies that will help mitigate the amount of taxes that you'll pay. We can calculate how much you'll pay over your retirement, and we can determine what that tax bill will be. That's the grounding. That's the default path. That's the one that if you don't have a plan for your money, you fall into the government's plan for your money, and that is that you choose the grounding. Who wants to feel pain now? Who's going to choose pain? I'll raise my hand and say, yeah, I want the spanking. If you don't even know it's an option, you're definitely not choosing it. Well, so the point is, there are strategies. There are things that you can do to mitigate those taxes that you're going to pay over a 30 or 40-year period of time, but you got to choose the spanking.
The choice is yours. Pay a little more now or a lot later. Call the team at the Vincent Financial Group and take advantage of their no-cost, no-obligation tax map. 770-280-1488. That's 770-280-1488 or online at retireatlradio.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. A 401k assessment does not constitute a comprehensive retirement plan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
9:19 on the Mark Arum Show. Big Monday morning jam, west side of I-285, live with the latest. Mike Shields.
And hopefully things can improve now, Mark, with a crash that just had all lanes blocked to move it to the right shoulder. I-285 southbound the outer loop just south of Hollowell Parkway, exit 12, but bumper to bumper 3 miles back to South Cobb Drive, exit 15. Those delays should ease up, though, as that crash has now moved to the right shoulder. And a crash off to the right now, I-20 eastbound at Riverside Parkway, exit 46. This support is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
Yeah, it's really important to get these bodies back so they can do their grieving and move on to the next step. It's very rewarding to be part of that process. That's what, keeps us driving to continue on doing what we're doing.
That's the voice of Keith Cormakin. He was the search and rescue operator that found the body of the missing boater on Lake Oconee yesterday. Just a tragic ending to that story. Joining us live and covering the story for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, our longtime friend Alexis Stevens. Alexis, there's two ways to look at this story. Sad that the gentleman was found in the lake dead, but maybe positive that the family could perhaps get some closure on this.
That's the hope, Mark, but there's still just so many unknowns and so many unanswered questions about how both of them ended up in the water. There's just still so much that we don't know.
What do we know? The body of Gary Jones was found yesterday afternoon, I believe. How was he discovered?
So there were an extra search party that had been brought in at the request of his family, and he was found in about 45 feet of water, about 100 yards, I'm told, from where his fiancee, Joy Wilson, had been located. It was an area that had been searched many times. I'm told just from the conditions of the water and how deep he was in and the debris underneath that may have delayed searchers from being able to find him.
Yeah, I mean, when you have these man-made lakes that we have here in Georgia, there's so much stuff on the bottom and the murkiness of the water. The fact that he was so deep, 45 feet, that explains why it was such a long search effort to recover him. And this after, his fiance's body was recovered much earlier. Does this end any speculation? Because listen, a story like this captures the attention of everybody, and there were thoughts that, well, maybe he's still alive, or not necessarily something nefarious, but maybe there was hope that he would be found somewhere. That this obviously ends that speculation.
It definitely does. And I think there was always hope and prayers that he would be found alive. However, so many of his personal items were left behind, including his wallet, his tennis shoes that he had on. It just seemed like it was really going to be far-fetched for him to have been able to get away from there and to just have never been found. So it does end the speculation that perhaps he's alive. What we don't know yet is if he drowned, how they both ended up in the water. We have been told that they knew how to swim, but the water was freezing that day. So who knows what may have happened when they did hit the water. I have been told, and investigators have said, it was such a small boat and just very much not appropriate for that lake, just because of how small it was and how vast and treacherous that lake could be. So it was almost, and I do know that Mr. Jones had owned the boat for several years and it wasn't his first outing in it or anything like that. I just think it was just not an ideal situation for that boat to be on that lake.
Alexis Stevens from the AJC joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. So his fiance, Joyce Linda Cole Wilson, was found on February 9th, a day after the incident. So it was a full month after her body was found that Gary Jones's body was found yesterday. What can you tell the listeners, if they haven't been paying a close attention to the story, about Mr. Jones and Miss Wilson?
By all accounts, they were just a wonderful couple. They plan to marry next Saturday, March 14th. They were both educators. Ms. Wilson was a longtime math instructor at Spelman, and Mr. Jones taught physics at the Westminster schools in Atlanta and was also a track and field coach. By all accounts, just dedicated to their students, loved their job. I spoke to a friend of Joy's recently who said they were like copies of each other. They were like the perfect couple because they shared their love of educating and just their students. They were dedicated to what they did, and both are truly going to be missed, already are by all of the students and the communities that they've left behind.
Yeah, one of the more touching, heartbreaking pieces of your article on AJC.com was he was found in his Westminster Wildcats shirt. Like, he was wearing his school shirt. That was a gut punch, because I know the school has been torn apart emotionally as the search goes on. The sheriff heading up the investigation said 29-day search was the longest rescue recovery that he's ever been involved with in his half century in law enforcement. What happens now with the investigation? Do we get any inclination from the sheriff where this goes from here?
I'm expecting the GBI Crime Lab to conduct an autopsy on Mr. Jones, which is standard. They did the same thing for Ms. Wilson. Those results of her autopsy have not yet been finalized or released to the public. Sills has obviously seen those, and I'm sure her family has as well. I'm thinking from there, if they can get more information on what happened to Mr. Jones, maybe they can piece some of that together better than what we know right now. The Sheriff Sills has said that when Miss Wilson was located, it was not simply a drowning investigation. She was actually more floating on the water as opposed to him being 45 feet down. So I'm hoping the autopsy on him will lend some more answers, but there is a very good possibility that we will be speculating on this for some time.
Since his body was recovered, final question for you, Alexis. Can we rule out foul play, or the sheriff's not going that far yet?
He's not going that far yet, and that would be just a lot of speculation on his part until, particularly imagining that this body had been underwater for so long. They're really going to wait for a medical examiner to go in and see what other signs there may have been, if there was indication of some type of medical emergency or some other kind of trauma or something like that. At this point, I think we're hoping that, if we get some answers from the autopsy, this could all end up being just a horrific tragedy. Yeah. It's just hard to say at this point.
Alexis Stevens, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Alexis is on Twitter, X at Alexis News. Very emotional story to cover. I certainly understand, Alexis, but thank you so much for your time and your insight.
Thank you, Mark.
There you go. Maybe peace of mind for the family. This is the saddest part of the whole thing. They were set to get married on March 14th, 4 days from now. My hope is the family gets this closure. But I can only imagine if my brother, father, grandfather was missing for 29 days after a boat incident on a lake, I'd still be holding out hope. Like he's got amnesia. He'll turn up somewhere. So that, but at least there's closure there. Anyway, we'll continue to monitor that and the investigation on the now found missing boater on Lake Oconee. All right, Judd's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, I'm calling it tariff ping pong. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The latest with the tariff situation. When we come back, we go to the White House, get the latest from White House correspondent Karen Travers on tariffs. That's next on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing, and I'm thrilled to hear the FGA Roofing is Tim Andrews' roofer.
My FGA Roofing story is very simple. We needed repairs to our roof. And I said, hey, I'm going to call Scott Slade's roofer. FGA Roofing came out, and within 15 to 20 minutes, they had everything identified that needed to be done, and they came back about a week later and knocked it out very quickly.
Quality work is what you get with FGA Roofing, whether you're going for repairs or if you're ready for your home's exterior for a real upgrade. The architectural shingles, the designer roofs, these are real envy points with your neighbors. They'll be stopping you on the street going, hey, who did that?
Hey, you know what? After the repair, one of the neighbors down the street, who I never even met before, came up and said, who did that? So when I am in the market for a new roof, I know who I'm going to call. FGA Roofing.
Absolutely. Designer roofs catching your eye, this is where you need to go. Slate, tile, wood shake, and for a limited time, FGA Roofing is offering $1,000 off your final quote if you mention Scott Slade or Tim Andrews.
That's awesome.
Just search FGA Roofing.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we're treating the untreatable. Using a patient's unique genetic makeup, our researchers are developing personalized cancer vaccines that help stimulate the immune system to better fight the disease and prevent it from recurring. We're making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Our farmers feed us all. For generations, they've done what's best for the land. So why is the litigation industry threatening Georgia farmers' go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate-based herbicides, crop yields will drop, costs will soar, and we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Farmers need to be supported, not controlled. To keep glyphosate available in our state, go to TakeControlGeorgia.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Georgia farmers.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Jed Hickenbotham. Our top story this half hour, awaiting today's court appearance for the man charged with killing at least a total of 8 people in a series of shootings at spas across metro Atlanta almost 4 years ago. Robert Aaron Long is already serving 4 life sentences for each person killed at a business in Cherokee County. He's pled guilty to that attack, but today's hearing, starting any minute now, is in Fulton County, where DA Fonnie Willis is seeking the death penalty for Long, who's charged with gunning down 4 others at a pair of spas along Piedmont Road. We will keep an eye on today's proceedings and let you know what comes out of them. It is 46 degrees right now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the rain will continue to fall through this morning, start to dry up this afternoon. The high, though, won't make it out of the 50s. Get a nice warm-up tomorrow, though. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. And Alpharetta Preschool has closed its doors for good after teachers arrested last year for molesting a dozen children in her care. State officials say the Kids Are Kids on Webbridge Road made the decision on its own after its license renewal was denied. Attorney John Bay represents 4 families who say Tulsi Patel abused their children.
I'm glad that this is not going to happen to another child in that facility.
Patel had only been on the job 2 weeks when she was arrested. She bonded out in January. Events start today as Paulding County teams up with state and federal officials to dish out information about flood safety and preparedness.
It's Flood Safety and Preparedness Week, and Paulding County will be offering reminders to residents to keep them safe during a potential flood.
So have a way to get information, have a plan, and have a ready kit.
Eve Cogsdale, EMA's deputy director, says it's also important to remember not to drive in floodwaters, educate yourself about the types of floods and ways to communicate during a flood, and most importantly, consider having flood insurance. Daphne Young, 95.5 WSB.
Updating Israel at war, more talks taking place today between Israel and Hamas in Qatar as they work on an agreement to extend their ceasefire.
Those negotiations are being overshadowed by those side talks that the Trump administration was having directly with Hamas. And this breaks a massive taboo. Never before has any U.S. administration ever spoken directly to Hamas. We understand Israel was not happy about it.
Correspondent Matt Gutman says it comes as Israel looks to turn up the pressure against the terror group by cutting off electricity into Gaza. Experts say it could be especially dangerous for Palestinians' drinking water. And the highlight of this week's U.S. economic calendar is the report on consumer inflation.
U.S. consumer prices probably rose last month at a pace that illustrates plotting progress on inflation for the Fed. Officials may be fine staying on the sidelines for now to assess a policy whirlwind from the Trump administration. The report due Wednesday is projected to show that consumer prices minus food and energy rose 0.3%. Meanwhile, so-called core prices probably rose 3.2% from February of last year, still above the Fed's target. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
Speaking of which, at 9:33, we check your money, and after President Trump refuses to rule out a recession in connection with the ongoing tariffs and tariff wars and threats of more, it is a brutal start on Wall Street. The Dow opening up down more than 400 points, NASDAQ down well over 300 points, and S&P has already lost 1.5%. It's down almost 90 points. Could be a rough day on Wall Street. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. Start in the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Mike Shields.
And Judd, all lanes being held right now on the downtown connector, I-75-85 northbound right at 10th Street to clear a crash from the HOV lane to the right shoulder. Atlanta Police, Georgia State Patrol, and Hero units all holding lanes right now, trying to get several vehicles over to the right shoulder. You can always use Northside Drive or Peachtree Street as an alternate to avoid those delays into Midtown. And better news with the crash on the west side perimeter also had all lanes blocked. That's been moved to the right shoulder. 285 southbound the outer loop just south of Hollowell Parkway, exit 12. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy with off and on rain showers today. Some will be heavy at times, high 56. The rain tapers off for the ride home this evening and cooling down tonight, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, much warmer, high 73. Wednesday, partly cloudy, morning low 44, afternoon high 75.
Storm Tracker radar shows the rain continuing to fall all over metro Atlanta. 43 degrees right now in Tucker, 45 in Kennesaw, 46 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10, breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
The morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
America is not Canada. And Canada never, ever
will be part of America in any way, shape,
Strong
or
words
form.
from the soon-to-be new Prime Minister of Canada, mostly regarding tariffs. What's the latest with the tariffs on this Monday morn? We go to the White House next on the Mark Arum Show.
This daylight savings, trade that lost hour for a summer day at Sea Island. Now through March 11th, book your summer getaway and enjoy a complimentary third night when you stay 2 nights at the Cloister or the Lodge. Or save 15% on a Sea Island cottage rental. Plus, make the most of your stay with a complimentary $300 resort credit for dining, activities, and more. Don't delay. Summer dates are filling fast. Visit seaisland.com/summer to reserve your spot. Terms and conditions apply.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims, and in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Have you ever really thought about the service companies you use? These are the folks you trust to do things for your home and in your home you just can't do for yourself, like taking care of your heating and air conditioning systems. This is Scott Slade, and this is where Ragsdale Heating and Air really stands out to me. I know you can trust them to take care of all your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs like they do for me. You can see it for yourself in thousands of reviews at a 4.9 Google rating. It's easy to schedule your visit online at ragsdaleair.com or call them. Ragsdale, the name I know you can trust.
One of my favorite songs of all time. Happy 59th birthday. She's older than Longoria. Edie Brickell turns 59. She was married to a famous musician, Deborah, or is still married to a famous musician? I think.
Edie Brickell?
Yeah.
Who was she married to?
Paul Simon?
Not a musician.
I think she's married to Paul Simon, or was.
Oh, is she still married to Paul Simon?
I don't know. You're our musical correspondent. You can. That's one of my top 100 favorite songs of all time. And then she really didn't.
Yeah, it says Paul Simon.
Paul Simon still. All right, good for him. Good for her. Good for both of them. And a happy birthday to Edie Brickell, 59 years old today. Hey, coming up an hour, Eric Erickson is going to join us live. Going to go in depth with him on all things politics. And I got a big local politics story I want to pick Eric's brain at. But first, let's go up to the nation's capital. Joining us from ABC News, White House correspondent Karen Travers. Karen, good morning, my friend. I've been calling it tariff ping pong as world leaders keep going back and forth on the tariff situation. What is the tariff situation this Monday morning for folks listening here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, and it's really a lot of head spinning when you look at what happened last week. And I do think it's worth reviewing because seeing it in the list was really kind of striking to me, and I was covering it. Tuesday, the president imposed a 25% tariff on Mexican and Canadian imports. Wednesday, he gave an exemption for 1 month for American automakers. And then Thursday, there was another 1 month delay on almost all goods coming in from Mexico and Canada, most of them. So this was just a roller coaster week last week, which caused a lot of confusion for people who have businesses who are, trying to figure out what their costs are going to be, and of course for the stock market. But the president last night on Air Force One defended tariffs as he was talking to reporters. He said, I think the tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country. It's going to make our country rich again. This week now, we're going to see a 25% tariff on foreign steel and aluminum go into effect on Wednesday. And the president is still considering what he's calling these reciprocal tariffs, which would go into effect in the beginning of next month. He has instructed his team to look at trade relationships with countries all around the world, see where there are deficits, and try and balance things out. And so you could see at the beginning of April significant announcements of tariffs on countries all over the world that could have significant effects on American businesses and consumers.
We say that now, but April's a long way away, and we could be ping-ponging it back and forth. What about the reciprocal tariffs on Canadian dairy and lumber? Because Canada pushed back against the U.S. What did President Trump say about those reciprocal tariffs?
Yeah, so he had announced, or he had threatened late last week, that he would put into effect about 250% tariff on Canadian dairy and lumber. And this is in response to the tax that Canada put on American dairy and lumber as a way to protect their farmers and their industries. The president said last week it makes it impossible for the American companies to sell lumber or dairy products into Canada. Kind of looking at it from the other end of things, the U.S. gets half of its lumber from Canada. So, that retaliation would have a significant impact on companies here that rely on Canadian wood. The National Association of Home Builders says that even a 25% tariff could increase the cost by $10,000 for a single-family new home. What the president's talking about here is 10 times as much. The Commerce Secretary, though, said yesterday that tariff, those tariffs on dairy and lumber from Canada, would not happen this week, that the president would be responding to that in early April. So don't look for that this week, but still that threat is on the table from the president.
One more quick question on Canada tariffs, Karen. It doesn't impact us here in Georgia and Metro Atlanta, but I know a lot of the northern states get their electricity from Canadian producers. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, the latest, I believe, on that was that they had been threatening to shut that off. Ontario had said that they were going to cut off the electricity. I'd have to go back and look and see exactly where that stood by late last week. But they were going to put I think a 25% tariff on the U.S. the electricity going from there into the United States. And then that could be happening this week. So I'd have to look and see exactly where that stood by the end of last week with all the back and forth.
I know it's so tough to keep. I'm trying to take notes as you're answering these questions so I have the days right. We got Canada. We knocked out Canada. Anything new on Mexican tariffs that we should be aware of?
No, I mean, everything now, just that lift that the president gave at the end of last week after having the conversation with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum. The president said, he did it to help them out, that they have a good relationship, and that he liked what they had done over the last month. It wasn't everything that saw the tariffs get lifted, but it was most product coming in from Mexico. Most importantly, it was most produce, and that was where people were really worried because you were likely to see the impact right away at the grocery store.
Yes, my wife keeps asking me about avocado tariffs, so I just wanted
I
wanted to make sure I touched on that. Karen Travers, ABC News.
They were quickly going to go up in price. Absolutely.
Exactly. We're a little freak out in the Aram household. Karen, really appreciate your time as always.
Have a great day. Thanks.
So again, if the tariff, it's such a ping pong thing. It's tough to keep up. Do we have tariffs active? Is there pause? What's going on? Mexico, China, and Canada all involved in this tariff situation. Speaking of Canada, again, new prime minister. He's not sworn in yet, but he spoke after Justin Trudeau stepped down, and he's coming out guns a-blazing against the U.S.
We didn't ask for this fight, but Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
All right, so his name, by the way, is Mark Carney, not a politician. He's an economist. He won the race, taking nearly 86% of the votes. Carney served as the head of the Bank of England before returning home to do the same in Canada. This all comes amid the chaotic trade war with the U.S. CBS News correspondent Ed O'Keefe has more on that election and what it could mean to tariffs.
Boisterous and ominous at times as he warns of dark days amid this trade war that has been started by President Trump. It is completely unclear exactly how he plans to proceed for a few reasons. One, he's not yet prime minister. We expect him to become head of Canadian government later this week. It takes a few days to get him set up to do so. And at that point, then, we may start to get a better sense of how exactly he plans to engage with the Trump administration.
Yeah, so really an interesting situation. So he is just replacing Trudeau. He won the Liberal vote, I guess, to replace Trudeau, but he's got to face another election coming up soon against the Conservative candidate. So he might be a very short-lived prime minister, but again, his name is Mark Carney. has never been in politics before. He's an economist. Interesting development there. All right, quick break. When we come back, the latest on measles, the outbreak in West Texas. Alexander Tin, reporter from CBS, joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
from your source for news.
Get the WSB Radio app.
Download it from your app store today.
No more messing around, fellas. 1-day treatment and your life will be changed forever. It's Mark Arum back from my friends at Advanced Hair. What makes them different? They combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. Not a pill or a lotion that helps you retain what you have. Instead, Advanced Hair offers the proven guaranteed solution that regrows your hair where it's currently gone. 1-day treatment and life-changing results. How else can you change your life in 1 day in a positive way? If you want to get your hair back, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. An amazing facility, amazing staff, and amazing results. It takes just one visit, but first you need a free consultation. So schedule now, 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. 1-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their coming Roswell or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 5-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
If you've been thinking about selling your home this year, now is the time. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. When you receive a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. One of our clients, BR, said, Mark Spain Real Estate sold my home within 30 days. I definitely recommend them to my friends and family. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. and find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. Look, I know what's important to you when you're having some additions done to your house. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. That's why I love Ben Hill Renovations, my deck experts. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. They've been building decks for over 60 years. Every project comes with a dedicated project manager and is properly built with future county and city code requirements in mind. Plus, Ben Hill Renovations offers many options, different styles, types of wood, color, and finishes. They can also build screened-in porches, outdoor living areas, multi-story wraparounds, pretty much anything you can imagine Ben Hill Renovations can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Set up a design consultation or swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
9:49 on the Mark Aram Show. Checking trouble downtown. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Here's Mike Shields.
Yeah, better news with this, Mark. Within the last 5 minutes, the crash that had all lanes blocked moved everything to the right shoulder. Wouldn't be surprised, though, for right lanes blocked at times. I-75-85 northbound right at 10th Street, exit 250, but bumper to bumper as you leave I-20, making your way through downtown and into Midtown. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
A lot of people died this week, as you know, in Ukraine. Not only Ukrainians, but Russians. So I think everybody wants to see it get done. We're going to make a lot of progress, I believe, this week.
President Trump on board Air Force One last night talking about the Russia-Ukraine talks. Big movement there. We're going to go in and check in Saudi Arabia, where those talks will occur a little bit later on in the show. Right now, though, joining us live from CBS News, it's reporter Alexander Tin. Alexander, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Last we checked on Friday, the last time I was on the air, we had that measles outbreak in West Texas, one child dead, and we're starting to get, I would call them little hotspots popping up in other states. What's the latest on measles?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, every year, unfortunately, we do hear about these little hotspots of measles around the country. Almost all of them are typically the result of people who were under-vaccinated or unvaccinated, who travel overseas, come back to the United States, and not only have themselves an infection, but spread it to some others in their household or in their community. But of course, the one in Texas is so different from that. You know, while most of those typically are one-off infections that, you know, are essentially dead-end outbreaks, the measles outbreak in Texas and neighboring New Mexico now numbers in more than 200 cases. You mentioned one death that was reported earlier in an unvaccinated child. We've heard of another death since then in an unvaccinated adult, also linked to this outbreak. And of course, we're hearing from the CDC and other health officials that they expect the Texas and New Mexico outbreak to continue to grow in the coming weeks.
I want to localize this story. As far as I know, we've not had an outbreak here in Georgia, but over the weekend, Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene promoted the long-denounced practice of exposing kids to the potentially deadly virus, calling for a measles party. Now, I don't know if that happened in the past, but I know they had chicken pox parties back. You know, we get one kid with chicken pox and you have everyone come over so everyone gets it and gets the immunity. It seems like that measles party would be a lot riskier than a chicken pox party.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, we even heard Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. mention on a Fox News interview last week that he himself had attended measles parties. But he was careful to say, like we've heard from health officials, that nobody recommends intentionally getting sick in order to get immunity. The far less riskier way of trying to get immunity to measles is simply to get the measles vaccine. That's something that both Kennedy and health officials have been recommending, and it's something that the CDC recently renewed a recommendation for, especially for people who might have that, you know, immunity starting to wane with the travel season coming up. If you're traveling anywhere internationally, the CDC has redoubled their recommendation that you should make sure you're up to date on those shots.
Is the pushback on the measles vaccine the theory that the measles vaccine might lead to autism in children? Is that the nut here that we're seeing this pushback on measles vaccine?
Yeah, I mean, look, the pushback on the measles vaccine has lasted for decades now. The autism is part of it. There are concerns, you know, there's a whole range of concerns also about, you know, whether the vaccine is needed, whether the benefits outweigh the risks, you know, yada, yada, yada. But of course, what we have heard again, time and time again, both from health experts as well as outside health officials, as well as those within the government, right, is that not only has that link between autism and vaccines been debunked specifically for the measles vaccine, especially in the formulation that's currently used in the United States, but also, you know, the number of risks that come from the other way, quote unquote, of getting immunity to measles, which is getting infected by the virus, increases your risk of all those severe issues that can be caused by measles, let alone, obviously, the actual experience, even for those who don't end up in the hospital, of having to suffer not only through measles, but it risks spreading it to all those around you. You know, measles is that super highly contagious virus. It's so difficult to get a handle of. And by the time that people have symptoms of measles, they've already been contagious for several days to people around them.
I would imagine, Alexander, I mean, obviously one death. The CDC put out some statistics on measles, and I might be misquoting, but 1 in 1,000 kids who gets the measles will die. But the odds of them being hospitalized are much greater. I think it might be 1 in 5 children that gets the measles is hospitalized. So this is certainly nothing to mess around with.
Yeah, that's right. And again, you know, what we have heard from those people in Texas who have been treating the patients in this outbreak. For example, that child who died, that child was, what we've heard from the doctor who treated that child, was otherwise healthy, didn't have some severe underlying condition that put them at risk of severe disease. So, the argument we've heard time and time again from the local health officials as well as the doctors is that, yes, even if your odds are better because we're living in a developed country with a great medical system and great doctors that can improve your odds of surviving the virus, don't take your chances with the virus. There's no reason to.
I'm going to assume that folks should check with their primary physicians or their pediatricians, right? When it comes to any guidance, when it comes to measles vaccine or any vaccine, that should be the company line, right? Check with your medical professional.
Yeah, it's important to be clear that, the guidance around what is recommended for measles vaccination has not changed. Yes, you should talk to your doctor. You should check with your local health officials, your local health department. If you're looking to find a measles vaccination, that guidance has not changed. The only thing that has changed recently, again, is that CDC plea reminding people that if you're planning on traveling abroad or if you know of somebody who's traveling abroad, make sure they're up to date on their vaccines before going abroad, because that's the way that typically these measles virus outbreaks typically get introduced into the United States.
Absolutely. Alexander Tin, CBS. Alexander, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Speaking of pediatricians, I'm fascinated by food allergies, and I know now kids get like the prick test to find out what they're going. This story Deborah found, 25-year-old woman, I believe, she's so allergic to so many foods that she only eats what, Deborah? This would kill me.
Yeah, this is really weird. This 25-year-old woman is so allergic to things she can only eat baby formula. That's it.
Oh my God, that's horrifying to me. What does it say? What she's allergic to, and why it's just baby formula that she can eat?
It says she's allergic to almost everything except for 2 foods. She can eat oats, but it's so hard for her to travel that she still lives at home so she can control her diet.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself. And you can develop these food allergies later in life. What if I walk in tomorrow, Longoria, and like the only food I can eat are oats and baby formula? What kind of life?
I will disown you as a friend because I would never be able to go. We can't go to Golden Corral or nothing.
Oh my God, I feel so bad for her. Are there different flavors of baby formula? Can she ask her? I mean, she lives at home.
I think there's flavored stuff.
Mom, can you get the banana flavor? I feel so terrible for that woman. That's horrendous. Speaking of Golden Corral, Longoria, I didn't want to bother you on your birthday, but
yeah, I saw.
Alex Williams, Smile Mark K, and I celebrated.
I was around, not doing a dang thing.
Well, you're under the weather. It's your birthday. I didn't want to steal you on your birthday to come to the Golden Corral, but it was phenomenal.
I bet. Phenomenal. A nice birthday little gift.
Happy birthday, Longoria. All right, we got big movements in the Russia-Ukraine peace talks. We're going to go to Saudi Arabia next on the Mark Arum Show. Still to come, Eric Erickson is going to join us live talking all things politics. And, oh, man, we got some answers in the Gene Hackman, the death of Gene Hackman and his wife. Correspondent Rory O'Neill is going to fill us in a little bit later on the show on all that. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Coming up from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, a Delta classical concert featuring music director Larit Robert-Spano, conducting Rimsky-Korsakov's adventurous Scheherazade, March 27th and 29th at Symphony Hall. Details at aso.org.
This daylight savings, trade that lost hour for a summer day at Sea Island. Now through March 11th, book your summer getaway and enjoy a complimentary 3rd night when you stay 2 nights at the Cloister or the Lodge. Or save 15% on a Sea Island cottage rental. Plus, make the most of your stay with a complimentary $300 resort credit for dining, activities, and more. Don't delay. Summer dates are filling fast. Visit seaisland.com/summer to reserve your spot. Terms and conditions apply.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Take advantage of Zero-Res Air Duct Cleaning Spring Sale and remove the dust from your home. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $50 off your air duct cleaning. Use code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero-Res, it's the right way to clean.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. President Trump says inflation could continue to rise, but would not say if the U.S. could fall into a recession later this year. And the markets don't like that. The Dow tumbling 500 points at the open. The S&P 500 was 7% below its record set last month. Meanwhile, China's retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods taking effect today. They include a 15% levy on American chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton. There's a 10% tariff on pork, beef, produce, dairy, soybeans, and certain seafood. Correspondent Natalie Brand has more from Washington.
President Trump really downplaying, trying to ignore these concerns about a potential recession, as some have alluded to or worry about, or businesses expressing uncertainty.
And President Trump defending the tariffs, saying that they will be the, quote, greatest thing we've ever done as a country. The president suggesting that tariffs are beneficial for job creation and factory returns to the United States. Let's take a look at the markets now. We're still in the red. The Dow down 353 at 42,448. The Dow's down almost a full percent. NASDAQ is down more than 2.5%. And the S&P's down more than 1.5% here in the 10 o'clock hour. All right, your weather for today, cloudy, scattered rain showers all day. Some of those showers could be heavy at times. Afternoon highs around 56, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The man accused of killing 8 people at spas in 2 metro counties due in court this morning, Robert Aaron Long, already serving 4 life sentences after pleading guilty to the 4 murders at Young's Asian Massage Parlor in Cherokee County in March of 2021. Today's court appearance is in Fulton County, where Long is accused of killing 4 Asian women at 2 spa locations on Piedmont Road. District Attorney Fonnie Willis seeking the death penalty there. In Alpharetta, a daycare center closes its doors for good 7 months after a new teacher was charged with child molestation.
A state agency confirms Kids Are Kids Web Bridge is closing of their own volition. The license was denied after Tulsi Patel's arrest. Attorney John Bay represents families of 4 alleged victims.
We're glad that it doesn't happen in the future, but with respect to their case, there's still a lot to be done.
Patel faced similar accusations at a previous school which did not report her. Bay says Kids Are Kids failed to supervise her just 2 weeks on the job.
What I worry about is these teachers will now go to other facilities and the parents won't even know.
Kids Are Kids' COO says their franchisee did everything possible to prevent this tragedy. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
The Supreme Court has agreed this morning to decide whether state and local governments can enforce laws banning conversion therapy for LGBTQ plus children in a Colorado case. The conservative-led court said this morning that it will hear a challenge to the law amid aggressive actions by President Trump targeting transgender people, including a ban on military service and an end to federal funding for gender-affirming care for transgender minors. And did you get the flu this year? You weren't alone. The Atlanta-based CDC says the flu season, though, appears to have peaked now. It's estimated that since the start of October, some 40 million people have come down with flu. More than 500,000 people ended up in the hospital this year. 22,000 people died from flu. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Seeing some new trouble downtown. Crash in a right lane as you're heading north on the connector. 75-85 getting past Freedom Parkway, exit 248C. Delays all the way back towards Langford Parkway. Bit of a rough ride leaving East Point to the heart of downtown. Trouble still active on the southwest side as well. Right lane or left lane crash, it seems. 285 south, the outer loop at Cascade Road. That's exit 7. Still working in that 85 frontage road as that car hit the power pole. They're still holding it up there. 85 south, Claremont Claremont Road, exit 91, we're still blocked off. You'll want to use North 85 proper to North Druid Hills Road. And looks like we might have a little bit of a slow spot, 285 northbound, merging from 78 east, slowing you all the way up towards La Vista Road, exit 37. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies with off and on rain showers through the afternoon, high 56. The rain tapers off just in time for the ride home this evening. Clear and cool tonight, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, the sunshine returns, much warmer, high 73. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, high 75.
We have cloudy skies, scattered showers, 44 degrees in Douglasville, 45 in Powder Springs. Snellville has 44 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good time change Monday morning to you. Mark Aram here. You there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. The whole gang with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, feeling under the weather on the other side of the takeout window. Lil Gnocchi screens your calls. Coming up in 30 minutes, Eric Erickson is going to join us live, talking all things politique with him. 10:50, we're going to go to Bloomberg News. What's the future of TikTok? Has President Trump found some possible buyers for the Chinese app? And we're going to continuously update our top local stories. I mentioned before the break, a lot of movement over the weekend in the Russia-Ukraine talks. In fact, Secretary of State Marco Rubio on his way to Saudi Arabia this morning to conduct those talks. Alex Marquardt from CNN is in Saudi Arabia this morning. What do we expect from Rubio in these talks, Alex?
Rubio set to land here in just a few hours, Sarah. He's going to be joined on this trip in Jeddah with the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz. They are expected to meet with the Saudi Crown Prince, who is a real moderator in all of these talks. But of course, the major focus is going to be what happens tomorrow. That is when these two high-level delegations from both the U.S. and Ukraine are expected to sit down. This will be another step at attempting to smooth over what happened in the Oval Office just 2 weeks ago, that explosive meeting. That was followed by the U.S., the Trump administration suspending military and intelligence assistance. We did hear from President Trump just yesterday saying that assistance could come back online soon, and he said that he expected very big things to happen this week. Now, what is going to happen tomorrow is those two delegations getting ready to sit down. We do know now from a senior official traveling with Secretary Rubio that they do believe that Ukraine is in a position where they want to move forward on these talks. I want to read you a little bit of what that official told reporters. The fact, he said, that they are coming here at senior levels is a good indication to us that they want to sit down and they're ready to move forward. But Sarah, what that looks like is not clear. That minerals deal that was supposed to be signed in Washington 2 weeks ago, that did not get signed. There have been no more assurances from the United States that there would be any kind of backstop or security guarantees. We would expect the Ukrainian delegation to push forward on this proposal for what's being called a partial ceasefire that we've heard President Zelensky talking about, a ceasefire of aerial bombardments on civilian and energy infrastructure, to stop to the fighting in the Black Sea. That is something that the U.S. could get on board with and then send over to the Russian side if they believe it's significant enough. Of course, far from certain that that's something that the Russians would agree to.
Alex Marquardt in Saudi Arabia this morning. So that is a big headline. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, traveling to Saudi Arabia to continue the ceasefire, maybe the rare earth minerals talks with Ukraine in Saudi Arabia. And there's also been reporting that Russian officials will meet with Rubio in Saudi Arabia, or U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia as well. I read an op-ed over the weekend while I was at Golden Corral without Longoria, talking about Russia's place in all of this and the fact that Vladimir Putin has literally zero incentive right now to come to a ceasefire deal or any sort of peace agreement. I mean, President Trump keeps saying, well, he backtracked a little bit over the weekend about who has all the cards. He famously said to Zelensky in that White House blow-up that you have no cards. You have no cards in this game. Russia has all the cards. He kind of backed off, said no one has cards yesterday. But it's true. Russia, there is no incentive for Russia to come to the negotiating table. Like they are pounding Ukraine. Ukraine not getting any aid from the U.S. It's paused right now. Not getting intelligence from the U.S. We have not seen an increase in aid from the European Union nations. So really, what's the incentive for Vladimir Putin, the Kremlin, to come to everything is going their way right now. Can President Trump, can Marco Rubio come up with some carrot to bring Russia to the table? Because right now, I mean, if we were playing a board game, right, Risk, everyone's familiar with Risk, right? My favorite board game was Axis and Allies, where it was basically World War II, and you could either be the Axis or the Allies powers. It's basically, if you were looking at this as a board game, or a chess game, like Putin's winning. Why would he accept a peace agreement? He's got everything going for him right now. Anyway, we'll see what the Trump administration can do, hopefully bring peace. I don't know if they have daylight savings time in Moscow, in Russia, but if they do, maybe now's the time to get Putin to the table. He's groggy like all of us. Good news, though, if you need a little extra pick-me-up today after we sprung forward Sunday morning. Deborah, whom is offering free coffee today for us drowsy folks?
Oh, yeah, you're going to love this. Dunkin' is offering free coffee with any Grubhub order of $15 if you're struggling with that time change today.
Oh, so you're going to buy $15 worth of donuts to get a free coffee?
I mean, I feel like that's not a hard thing for a lot of people.
No, certainly not for me. I love Dunkin' Donuts, their breakfast. I don't like their coffee. I'm not a big Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but I guess today any caffeine will do. Kid Coffee, by the way. Did you watch Shark Tank on Friday?
I did not.
They got the deal, Deborah.
Did they?
Yeah, 50,000.
Oh, good for them.
I DVR'd it and watched it Saturday morning when I woke up. We had the father-son from Kid Coffee on, and they won. Well, I don't know, you win. They had offers from all the sharks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they got the one guy I don't know who they took it from, but $50,000 for like 15% of their company. Mr. Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Offered the same deal, basically, but they went with the other guy.
Good.
You don't like that guy?
I don't like Mr. Wonderful.
But Cuban and the real estate lady, good for them. I could tell when they were in studio. Like they even off the air, they wouldn't tell me.
Yeah, they couldn't tell.
Even the 7-year-old kid was like, "I'm not telling you anything." I'm like, "Come on, I'll give you a noogie," and he's like, "No, I can't tell." But I could see the optimism in their eyes that they got. I'm so proud of them. KIID Coffee. All right. I'm not telling you to give your kid coffee when the time changes, but statistically, this is a really bad day for drivers because of the time change. Everyone's sleepy. Speaking of crashes on Metro Atlanta interstates, Deborah, there was a newly released study of the worst, I guess it's the worst intersections as far as crashes are concerned in the metro area. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the serious wreck hotspots here in Georgia by GDOT.
And what are some of the areas or intersections we should avoid?
Well, no surprise, I think, for anybody that's worked in our traffic team or has walked by the traffic team or anything, but 11 of the hot spots are on the downtown connector alone, and most of that has to do with people who just will not slow down.
Yeah, I'd rather travel on. I mean, the connector's usually too slow to get into an accident, unless it's a minor fender bender. But I prefer... drivers on 285 are just crazy. I try to avoid 285. So the downtown connector, what are some crash-ridden spots in Metro Atlanta?
A couple of the other ones are Old National Highway. Then you also have Candler Road and Covington Highway. And I feel like we mention those all the time when we do traffic reports.
Yeah, Old Nat-L, Old National Highway, Covington Highway, Candler Road. All right, so just be safe out there. And this morning's wet weather certainly didn't help matters. We'll get an update from the traffic center on what's going on the roads in just a couple of minutes. When we come back, sad ending to the story of Gene Hackman and his wife and dog dying. We finally got some answers over the weekend. Correspondent Rory O'Neill is going to join us with the latest after news, weather, and after this break. After this break, Aram. Social medias are active at Mark Aram and at WSB Radio.
Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, hoping with Paws Atlanta to find a home for our WSB Dog of the Month, Goldfish. 3-year-old Pitty, displaced after the Biolab fire, loved a good belly rub when he came to visit us. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog, and our sponsor Finley Roofing will pay the adoption fees for Goldfish's new human. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Can you remember the last time you turned on the shower and all you got was cold water? Hopefully you don't have a fresh memory of that. Hey, it's Mark Aram. I want you to check out my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Great new deal on a new water heater. Check it out, guys. Only $29.99 a month and no payments for 3 whole months. No credit check and an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Or you want to go tankless? It's only $59.99 a month and you can enjoy endless hot water. Think about those long, hot showers in the cold, cold winter. Their new water heater installations come with their 100% satisfaction guarantee, same-day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. And with their Comfort as a Service program, you get lifetime repair and maintenance, no additional charges ever, no money down, and just easy monthly payments. So new water heater, $29.99 a month, or tankless, $59.99 a month. Amazing deal. Amazing hot water, amazing service. Go online to reliableair.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Our farmers feed us all. For generations, they've done what's best for the land. So why is the litigation industry threatening Georgia farmers' go-to crop protection tool? Without glyphosate-based herbicides, crop yields will drop, costs will soar, and we'll all see even higher grocery bills. Farmers need to be supported, not controlled. To keep glyphosate available in our state, go to TakeControlGeorgia.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Georgia farmers.
If you're approaching or in retirement, listen closely. The stock market has been volatile. Are you tired of seeing your retirement account nosedive? With so much going on in the world, how can you be confident that your retirement is safe? Let me show you how. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed, but it's hard when you're not sure that your nest egg is safe. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we wrote the book on protecting your retirement. It's called Retirement of Steel, and each of our clients enjoys a retirement of steel that can weather any storm. If you're not 100% sure that your retirement account is safe, contact us today for a complimentary review. Let's see if the strategies that we're using to help people retire confidently can work for you. I think you'd agree 40 years of working hard and saving for retirement is worth this call. Call 888-471-3896, 888-471-3896, again 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
See this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
At D. Geller & Sons Spring Bridal event, picture this. 10 of the most exclusive names in engagement and wedding ring design with their entire assortments, not on a website, but right in front of you, ready to see, feel, and try on. And no matter what you choose, you'll get up to $3,000 off in event-only savings or 0% APR financing for 3 years. Next weekend, March 21st through 23rd, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
10:18 on the Mark Arum Show. Monitoring delays on the south side of town. Live with the latest, Andrew Seco.
New crashes are rolling through Morrow. Busy sector here in the south side. Now we're only in a left lane. That's the only one open. 75 north of Mount Zion Boulevard, exit 231. Delays building fast. Avoid the area. You may want to use I-675 as a quick fast track heading up towards the perimeter. This report sponsored by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Celebrate spring at Callaway Resort and Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Relax at 3-4 Diamond Lodge and Spa, or a charming cottage experience. Vibrant blooms and immersive art. Plan your spring getaway at CallawayGardens.com. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Another musical birthday today. Turning 78 years old, Tom Schultz, founder of the group Boston. Deborah, am I mispronouncing his name? Tom Schultz? Schultz, all right. This is crazy. Schultz began writing songs while a graduate student at MIT. He was at MIT. And he went, I love Boston. Boston was on the radio when I was a kid growing up. I know all of their songs. That was their More Than a Feeling from their debut album in 76. Deborah, are they still active, still touring, still doing anything?
No, it's really just Tom is the only one left in the band.
Oh,
so they
sad
kind of
news.
quit touring maybe a couple years ago, yeah.
Sad news. All right. Happy birthday, Tom. Many, many nights in Torrington, Connecticut with the Boston cassette in my cassette player. Were you familiar with Boston growing up in Texas, Longoria?
Oh, yeah. I knew
all
they
right.
were here, for sure.
All right. No Richie Valens, but you
Yeah,
got
I mean, I worked at a classic rock station. That was my
That's
first
right.
gig.
There you go. All right. Happy belated birthday, Longoria. All right. Joining us on the show, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, good morning, my friend. Sad news over the weekend in the investigation. Got some answers into the investigation of legendary actor, the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife. What can you tell us this morning?
Yeah, really tragic. I don't think anyone saw this coming. There were lots of armchair detectives when their two bodies were found on February 26th, but I don't think anyone predicted this, as the medical examiner now confirms that Betsy Arakawa, the wife of legendary actor Gene Hackman, apparently died in their Santa Fe home around February 11th due to complications from the Hanta virus, which is something typically associated with rodents and droppings and much more common in desert-like areas. So she apparently died on the 11th, maybe the 12th, and then Gene Hackman died in the home on the 18th, or at least that's when his pacemaker stopped working, but the bodies weren't discovered until the 26th of February when the maintenance workers arrived at the home. So this appears to be a case where the 65-year-old caregiver here, Betsy Arakawa, died as a result of this illness, leaving Hackman alone in the home. We now know that he had advanced Alzheimer's disease. So Hackman was home alone for more than a week and may have died from coronary issues that were aggravated by a lack of food and hydration.
Just awful story. And I know the listeners are wondering, well, how could his wife have died 7 days earlier and him not be aware, or was he taking care of himself for those 7 days? And then you mix in the dog. It's just incomprehensible.
Well, right. And, you know, it's difficult to know just what his mental faculties were. We don't know outside. The family may have a better understanding of that. But to be clear, foul play is not suspected here. Instead, the real concern is that Hackman, probably in bed most of the day, may not have been aware of his wife's death or didn't know how to process it. Maybe she had died in the bathroom. His body was found in a mudroom of their home. Had he gotten out of bed out of the need for food or water? Had he seen his wife's body? Did he know where he was and how long it had been since he had gotten a meal or something to drink? All those questions just will never be answered.
So there's no way for the authorities to track Hackman's movements, if you will, for those 7 days after his wife died. Like, was he eating? Were there dirty dishes in the sink? It's just there's no way to tell, huh?
Yeah, and it seems unlikely. Now, they said that his stomach was empty, the medical examiner said, so that is a disturbing bit of evidence there. But again, how long she had been dead before he realized that he needed help, and the fact that he didn't know enough to call 911, I think speaks to just how far gone he was, mentally speaking.
Yeah, really sad. And again, no foul play suspected, Rory, but will we find out how his wife contracted that Hanta virus at all, or is this investigation just over at this point?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much over at this point. From a police standpoint, since there's no one to arrest and no charges to be filed, I think they're going to wrap up this investigation. Family members may want to know how they came into contact with the virus. Again, it is more common in desert areas, but still very uncommon overall. And how it could have gotten in this, gated community in Santa Fe, so a little bit uncertain. They may try to retrace some of her steps, but again, I don't think there's too much to learn from that.
You mentioned family members. Do we know if they had children, siblings? Because they were out of contact for so long. Do we know if there are any survivors that could maybe say, "Oh, I last talked to them at this date"?
Well, right, and that I think is the other thing. He had 3 grown children, and from a prior marriage. So how they were not in contact with them for 2 weeks, essentially, I think is pretty remarkable. Although, if you think it through, and if he wasn't very verbal, and if he wasn't able to communicate much, or wasn't aware of to whom he was speaking, maybe you don't call very much because he can't really respond.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to be judge the children too harshly here, but to be out of touch, with your dad or his caregiver for 2 weeks is pretty remarkable when he's age 95.
Such a tragic story, but at least, Rory, we have some answers to the questions we had last week. Rory O'Neill, Rory, as always, appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks, Mark.
Just a awful situation. His stomach was empty, so for 7 days, what was Gene Hackman doing? Just reminded me, I did not hear from my parents this weekend. Mom, text me, Piccadilly text line, please. Let me know you're okay. If not, I'll call you after. But imagine not going 2 weeks without talking to your parents. That's a horrible story. This is a story as nothing as horrible as Gene Hackman, but it confirms what I've known all along. Better looking people get paid more money. Now, thankfully, I'm in radio. It's a low bar. At least the on-air staff. You go to the sales and marketing side, you're going to see some good-looking folks. But as a 4 on a good day, Deborah, statistics show that hot people, for lack of a better phrase, they make more than average-looking dudes like me, correct?
Yeah, they're calling it, more attractive people rather than hot people. But yeah, it's called a pretty privilege, where 81% of people believe that better looking people do earn more money. And they've done all these studies that show, the better looking you are, or other people rate you, you probably earn about 20 grand more than, us people on the bottom end of the scale.
That's sizable. So I'm looking around. Gnocchi's very attractive. We found out, right? That one visitor got butterflies.
Butterflies.
So Gnocchi's making $20K more than I am. Screening the calls. All right, good for you, Noak. I'm not mad. I'm a 4. I'm fine with it. I might shave the beard now. I don't think the beard's working out. I think I've dipped
for you or for Maya.
For Maya.
Oh, okay.
I think I went from a 4 to a 3 with this beard. But Gnocchi's, that's breaking news. Gnocchi makes $20,000 more than me because he gives visitors butterflies when they come in the studio. Speaking of hot coworkers, Eric Erickson joins us live next. We're going to talk politics with him. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic in 3 minutes right here on 95.5 WSB.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at MyLand always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you can afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. MyLand is who I recommend for all home financing needs, whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home. They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, MyLand will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call MyLand. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spelled it MILEND. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769. Located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
Hey, how's your HVAC system working these days? Is it keeping you warm? Kind of, maybe, not really. Like, oh hey, this must be how the meat and seafood feel at the supermarket. Castile Heating feels you. We want you warm and comfortable. Our same-day HVAC service will slap that chill into next year. And if it's a new installation you need, Castile's flexible payment options, warranties, and rebates will get your comfort situation going from frozen meats to freshly baked in no time. Book today at CastileAir.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Are you heading out of town? Barlow Lexus of South Atlanta offers complimentary airport parking for their service guests. Let them care for your Lexus while you travel. Call 1-800-NEW-LEXUS to schedule your service appointment and utilize their airport parking concierge service.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there. Good morning. It's 10:30. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta AMCO dealers. Might not be the day to look at your 401k. Wall Street not happy this morning. Stocks deep in the red.
After the worst week in stocks since September, investors are in a sour mood to begin the trading week.
Business analyst Jill Schlesinger on what you should or should not be doing today.
During a period of transition or a slowdown, even a recession, the best bet, of course, is to make sure your personal financial life is in check, but long-term investors should avoid making any changes to their retirement or education funding accounts.
And China's retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods taking effect today. So how are businesses dealing with those tariffs? Here's Rebecca Jarvis.
They say it's just not possible to stay in business and continue to pay these tariffs without making customers pay something higher. They also tell me they don't have an alternative. They can't just turn around and start producing things here in the United States because things cost more to produce in Mexico. Either the manufacturing facilities aren't here or the supplies aren't here.
All right, so let's take a look at your money right now. The Dow down 359 at 42,442. So the Dow's down almost a full percent. NASDAQ is down more than 3%. And the S&P's down almost 2% here at 1031. All right, your weather for today. The rain's going to stay with us pretty much all day. Scattered showers on and off. Some of those showers could be heavy at times, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Afternoon high, 56. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. The Supreme Court this morning has agreed to decide whether state and local governments can enforce laws banning conversion therapy for LGBTQ plus children in a Colorado case. Former federal prosecutor and law professor Laura Levinson provides some insight on the case.
The Supreme Court has decided to take a very controversial case involving whether states can ban LGBTQ conversion therapy. This case comes out of Colorado, but there are cases throughout the nation in 28 states in which they've sought to ban this type of therapy.
And the conservative-led court saying this morning it'll hear a challenge to the law amid actions by President Trump targeting transgender people, including a ban on military service and an end to federal funding for gender-affirming care for transgender minors. A small plane has crashed near a retirement community in Pennsylvania. No one died, but 5 people on board the aircraft were hurt. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve has more.
Preliminary flight data indicates the Beechcraft Bonanza crashed shortly after taking off from the nearby Lancaster Airport on its way to Springfield, Ohio. The pilot can be heard telling air traffic control that his plane had an open door and was returning to the airport. Less than a minute later, a controller tells the pilot to pull up right before the crash.
And local first responders say the plane appeared to have skidded about 100 feet after hitting the ground. Today is the first day that workers with the Atlanta-based CDC can opt in to a federal buyout offer similar to what the Trump administration offered other departments.
Federal workers at the Health and Human Services Department have until the end of the work week to figure out if they'll leave their jobs. If they do, they'll get as much as a $25,000 payment as part of President Trump's government cuts.
And Mike Piper reports that workers have between today and Friday to make a decision. The buyout offer was sent by by email to about 80,000 HHS workers, including many at the CDC here in Atlanta and the FDA. Well, CVS plans to open up about a dozen new stores this year that are about half the size of the current pharmacies. The smaller format store will have a full-service pharmacy as well as some over-the-counter products. CVS also plans to close about 1,000 stores and lay off workers. The pharmacy has been struggling to compete with the likes of Walmart and Amazon. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Andrew Seco has a look at your roads.
And only left lane open through Morrow with this big crash here. 75 north out Zion Boulevard exit 231. Delays already back almost to the 675 fork. Avoid the area. Use 675, or you can hop on Highway 4223 as another alternate through here. Still dealing with blockage on the 85 southbound frontage road at Claremont Road into Cab exit 91. Car crashed into a power pole, but needed to keep that up, so we are blocked on here. Take 85 proper down to North Druid Hills Road. That'll get you right back on towards that express road, or at least a quick bypass through here. And trouble in the downtown connectors off to the right, but we're still leaving the brake light. 75, 85 north. You're slow from University Avenue all the way up towards Freedom Parkway, where the crash was. Exit 248C. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy with off and on rain showers today. Some will be heavy at times, high 56. The rain tapers off for the ride home this evening and cooling down tonight, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, much warmer, high 73. Wednesday, partly cloudy, morning low 44, afternoon high 75.
Scattered showers, 45 degrees in Kennesaw. It's 44 in Covington and Lilburn. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
Your baby is ugly.
Eric Von Hessler has an opinion.
I abhor violence. Unless it's on the football field, where it belongs.
And some advice.
A meme coin, of course, something I don't really understand. Don't ever buy one. There you go. I just gave you some great advice.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Of course you hesitate. Who knows? All I know is this. We're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs.
President Trump on Air Force One yesterday. He loves the tariffs. The markets not so much. What does Eric Erickson think? He joins us live in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey folks, it's Belinda, and spring is right around the corner, and pests like termites, ants, and roaches are going to be out in force. You can protect your home with Arrow Exterminators and the Centricon system. Arrow Exterminators uses the most effective and environmentally friendly solutions available. With over 61 years of family-owned experience, you can trust them to keep your home pests free. Call 888-GO-ARROW to schedule your free pest inspection, or visit arrowexterminators.com and tell them Belinda sent you.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy. Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin. Book now and save up to 35% off. Plus, kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
11:38 on this dreary, sleepy Monday morning. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. 1 hour from now, Deborah's got some more tickets to give away to see the Outlaw Fest, Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. But joining us live, as he does every Monday at this time, our friend and colleague, Eric Erickson. Eric, good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
Been so long, it seems that I have a local politics story to start you off with, but let's rewind to last Wednesday. Georgia Congresswoman Lucy McBeth filed paperwork to raise money for a run for governor in 2026. By my count, the first Democrat to throw her hat in the ring. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, this is not unexpected, and Democrats are trying to preclude others from getting into the race. They really do think Lucy McBath is probably their strongest candidate. What Democrats are kind of banking on is a backlash towards Donald Trump in 2026, hoping that that'll persuade swing voters in the suburbs to go for the Democrats, and they think Lucy McBath is a good fit for that.
Why? I mean, not berating her or her credentials, but why is she the choice number one for the Dems?
They think she comes across well to suburban voters. She has a sympathetic story with her son being killed and her support of gun control, which they think is a resonant issue. I would disagree with them on that. They also think she's kind of above the fray outside the Georgia Democratic Party, which has had internal problems ever since Stacey Abrams imploded. A lot of people kind of held back, never questioned Abrams. They kind of want to move on beyond the era of Stacey Abrams, and they think that Lucy McBath is the perfect face for the Democratic Party.
First to market certainly helps, right? Are there any other Democrats that could join the fray?
Yeah, there are. Jen Jordan, who ran for, I think, Attorney General, is a possibility. That's a name being mentioned. There are some others in the state legislature who are looking at it right now. A couple of mayors out there as well. She's the big one, though, for the Democrats right now.
Looking past 2026, because I assume Andre Dickens is going to run for re-election, win here. Is he a viable statewide candidate if he chooses to be so?
Listen, I think he is. He's done a great job in Atlanta as far as the Democrats go. I don't know that he translates well outside of Atlanta, which is part of the problem. How well does he go into the suburbs? But, Keisha Lance Bottoms, as well as eyeing running for governor, I don't think she can do it. I think McBath would trounce her, but she's definitely one to keep an eye on.
And no more Stacey Abrams? Can we confirm that, or is there a possibility that...
Listen, a buddy of mine who's a prominent Democrat in the state said if she came back and wanted to run, they'd probably give it to her in a heartbeat, but he's hoping that she stays away.
Really?
She seems to make she doesn't appear to want it.
Interesting. Eric Erickson joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, will be termed out, can't run again. Carr, Jones, the two leading front runners?
Yes, and Burt Jones, largely because of money, honestly. He's got a lot of family money he can run. Chris Carr's going to have to show he can fundraise and distinguish himself from Burt. Burt has been playing it very strong with social conservative groups, and he's a Trump guy, and Donald Trump probably going to endorse him, which gives him a leg up on everybody.
With two strong names, we assume going to be in there. Is it, without doubt, we won't see a third Republican candidate since these two are too strong?
We might. There are rumors about Brad Raffensperger, who could also self-fund a race. I kind of think he would stay in the Secretary of State spot. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more.
All right. I love that we got to talk about a local story before we get into the national mess. But I want to start with Secretary of State Marco Rubio en route right now to Saudi Arabia to continue peace talks with the Ukrainians. What's going on behind the scenes? We had that closed-door cabinet meeting. Is it as bad as I think between Rubio and Musk right now behind closed doors?
We're starting to get leaks, and the leaks appear to be coming from cabinet secretaries, not from the DOJ side of things. And that tells me that, yeah, there definitely is friction. Sean Duffy has had people come out and say, yes, Musk is trying to get rid of FAA air traffic controllers for no reason. That's going to be a red flag for DOJ. Marco Rubio not happy with DOJ. He's also not happy with some of the people that Trump has inserted into the State Department, including his Secretary of Public Affairs, who apparently on Twitter used to make references about Marco Rubio being a closet homosexual, who he deleted those tweets.
I'm glad you brought it up, because I saw that story this morning, and I was like, I don't know if tell us about that.
Yeah, so you got a guy, now I forget his name, Doug, I forget his last name. He is not well liked by the Rubio people. He's actually got a history of pretty provocative anti-Semitic posts, among other things out there. He was inserted by fiat by Donald Trump, whether Marco Rubio liked him or not, and the Rubio team is kind of leaking against the guy to sabotage him. And this is part of the problem, is you're developing these frictions within the Trump administration between personnel who do not like each other, and the cabinet secretaries in particular, who think they should be able to put their own people in or are having other people imposed on them. And they're trying to sabotage each other.
Darren Beatty is the name. Darren
Yes,
Beatty.
Darren,
Yeah.
Darren, that's it,
All right. I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't sure if I should or not. All right. So I want to propose a theory that I put forth on my show last week when we got that meeting, again, back to that closed-door cabinet meeting, where President Trump said it will be the department heads, the Kash Patels, the Pete Hegseths, the Doug Collins, that will ultimately be responsible for who stays or who goes in their varying departments, which seems, in hindsight would have been pretty good to start. We wouldn't have to, when Doge came in and fired some people, they had to rehire. And that was the knee-jerk reaction, like, oh, okay, that's what should have been done. But I have another theory to this, that the White House counsel, they saw that 5-4 loss in the Supreme Court last week with Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Roberts voting with the liberal justices, that this is a move by the Trump White House to get in front of any future legal challenges, because a lot of the legal challenges are, does Doge have the ability to do this? Does Elon Musk have the ability to do this? That argument might be muted if it's like, oh, Kash Patel made the decision. It's his department. He can do it. I got to ask you a question in the words of Joe Pesci. I had your networking guru, Colby, pull this for me.
Ms. Vito, please answer the question. Does the defense's case hold water?
Does my theory hold water, Eric, that this was a legal move by the Trump team?
Yes, it actually does. Now, let's keep perspective on the Amy Coney Barrett decision there. She's getting lit up by people on the right. Trump actually defended her. This was a procedural decision. It wasn't an ultimate decision. It's going to come back to the Supreme Court, and she and Roberts are probably going to side with the conservatives ultimately. But yes, if you go back into several of the decisions from the Trump first term, numerous decisions were premised on Donald Trump has the power to do this. He has to use the right procedure. Doge can't unilaterally fire people from cabinet departments. The cabinet heads have to. As long as they use the right procedure, they can get away with it. And yes, I think the Trump pivot is about using the right procedure.
I feel validated, because I threw that out there last week and I didn't really hear much reaction. I'm like, oh, maybe I was way off on that. But I think, there are two reasons for that. Pumping the brakes on Doge, but also protecting themselves legally with all these legal challenges that are eventually. So, all right, I'm going to pat myself on the back, Eric.
Yep, procedure matters.
Thank you for that. What's coming up on the show today, buddy?
So I want to start actually with the potential of government shutdown, and also Marco Rubio getting rid of Mahmoud Khalil, going to deport him, revoke his green card over the complicity in anti-Semitic protests at Columbia University.
I will be listening, my friend. The Eric Erickson Show, noon to 3, across these fruited plains. Eric, thanks so much, brother.
See you later.
When we come back, heading up to Bloomberg News, managing editor Lynn Doan, has President Trump found multiple buyers for the Chinese app TikTok? In-depth coverage next on The Mark Arum Show.
Hey, WSB is looking for a home for goldfish. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News. He is our dog of the month. With Paws in Atlanta, we're looking for Goldfish's new family. He's about 3, loved a good belly rub when we met him here, cuddling and curious. Meet him at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, pays the adoption fee. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
See this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you could totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Here's a spring cleaning hack to make your life easier. Schedule an appointment with Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Their patented ZR water cleans better than detergents while leaving zero residue behind, leaving your carpet soft and fluffy. Take advantage of their spring sale going on right now. Mention me, Chris Chandler, to get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $129 plus a free hallway. Book online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero-Res, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people pay to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
10:51 on the Mark Arum Show. Still dealing with Southside delays. Live with the latest, Andrew Seco.
We are still seeing those brake lights, 75 north in Morrow, but we do have better news, Mark. Trouble off to the shoulder. All those lanes back open as you get to Mount Zion Boulevard, exit 231. Still dealing with brake lights all the way back to 675. So keep using 675 or Highway 4223 until we look in better shape. This report sponsored by Zenchi Handcrafted Sushi. Craving something fresh and flavorful? Discover Zenchi Handcrafted Sushi. High quality, affordable, and made fresh daily. Find Zenchi today at your local Publix markets right by the seafood counter. Andrew Seco, 95.5 WSB.
Possibly good news for all you TikTok stands out there. Joining us live, managing editor at Bloomberg News, Lynn Doan. Lynn, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Reading your work on Bloomberg today, President Trump said he has 4 different possible buyers for TikTok's U.S. business. Of course, TikTok owned by a Chinese company. Do we know who those 4 bidders are, and why is it President Trump that's heading these negotiations?
Well, we know of all sorts of potential bidders. I am not going to pretend that I am inside Trump's head and to know exactly which 4 bidders he might specifically be talking about. But the public bidders to date include this group led by the billionaire Frank McCourt. and a co-founder of Reddit. There's also this other tech entrepreneur, Jesse Tinsley, who has partnered with the YouTube star Mr. Beast for a potential offer. Others that have been reported as interested, the San Francisco-based Perplexity AI startup, though there are, of course, questions around that company and how it could afford such a deal. Now, Trump himself has also raised the possibility of him being open to Elon Musk buying the platform. Musk, of course, already operates the X social media platform, formerly known as Twitter. He's also said he'd be open to a bid by Oracle's founder, Larry Ellison. You had asked another question about why Trump would be leading these discussions. Well, first, Trump likes to lead these kinds of discussions, but even before that, it is related to the U.S. government, of course, by the very fact that the reason why TikTok is being forced to consider a takeover of its U.S. operations is because the U.S. legislature under the Biden administration last year decided that it would ban TikTok in the U.S. unless TikTok sold its U.S. operations to an American company.
Lynn, I know TikTok is so popular, especially with the younger generation. Small businesses are all over it as well. Do you have any idea what the asking price would be if ByteDance was willing to sell?
That's a really good question. TikTok in the U.S. was estimated to be worth as much as $50 billion last year. It might be worth even more than that this year. The U.S. is by far TikTok's biggest market. ByteDance operates a sister service at home in China, but TikTok in the U.S. Overshadows that operation. So we'd be talking, I think, safely in the tens of billions of dollars.
Which, if that's the estimate, that's more than what Elon Musk paid for then Twitter. So, that is a big...
That's right. And
yeah.
That's right. And it might also be why Bloomberg reported not too long ago that while Musk was attending an event recently, he expressed a less than eager, I would say he expressed or signaled that he wasn't particularly interested in a TikTok bid. I think he even went as far as to say he's not even sure what he would do with a platform like TikTok. So that signals to me that he may be less likely to make an offer than some of these other groups that have publicly said they're interested.
Especially with Tesla's stock, just in a nosedive. His net worth is dropped by I think almost $100 billion already since the first of the year. Lynn Doan, managing editor of Bloomberg News, joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. Is there any pressure on ByteDance to actually sell this? If they don't, does then President Trump reverse course and kick them off the app platforms again?
I do not envy ByteDance's situation. They're facing pressure to sell. They're also facing pressure to not sell. So from the U.S. side, they have a deadline of April 5th to strike a deal for their U.S. operations or be banned entirely from the country. Now, whether they will really be banned on April 5th is the big question, because Trump has signaled an openness to extend that deadline if necessary. And I should remind you that he's already pushed back an initial January 19th deadline that averted a more prolonged TikTok blackout. So who's to say that he couldn't just keep kicking this can down the road? Now, on the other end of this, of course, ByteDance is facing the Chinese government, which would presumably need to approve any sale, and Beijing has been nothing but unsupportive thus far. They're facing pressures on both ends.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here, Lynn. If this happens, just make sure you give me credit. I predict April 5th, President Trump is going to say, we are now tariffing all of the creators outside the United States on TikTok. We take 25% of their revenues.
That would be a rather innovative and also very Trumpian thing to do. So I would not rule it out, and I will certainly remember you and what you are predicting today on April 5th.
TikTok tariff, write it down. Lynn Doan, managing editor of Bloomberg. Always great stuff, Lynn. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
I bet Lynn was happy just not to talk about the stock market. It is drop in all the indices. We'll get you caught up to date on that coming up. Still to come, Deborah's got tickets for you to win to the Outlaw Fest. Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan, and of course, in depth on our top local stories. So much more to come on the Mark Arum Show.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
No more messing around, fellas. 1-day treatment and your life will be changed forever. It's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Advanced Hair. What makes them different? They combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. Not a pill or a lotion that helps you retain what you have. Instead, Advanced Hair offers the proven guaranteed solution that regrows your hair where it's currently gone. 1-day treatment and life-changing results. How else can you change your life in 1 day in a positive way? If you want to get your hair back, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. An amazing facility, amazing staff, and amazing results. It takes just one visit, but first you need a free consultation. So schedule now, 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. 1-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin. Book now and save up to 35% off. Plus, kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
If your energy bills are higher than they should be, if allergies seem to be worse, chances are you have leaky air ducts. MediClean Air Pros will seal your leaky ducts with AeroSeal, saving you on your energy bills. Visit MediCleanAirPros.com. MediCleanAirPros.com.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. Well, the stock market's in the red. It's been there all morning. The market's opening down sharply on economic concerns. Investment officer Bob Dahl says the blame is not all on those tariffs.
Tariffs are the big item, but there's also a question, will the economy maybe as a result of tariffs weaken, given us job problems, the consumer slowing.
Now, China did begin imposing those tariffs today on many farm products from the United States. It is the latest escalation of a trade fight between the world's two largest economies. Glenn Muller heads the South Dakota Pork Producers Council.
We're concerned about the long-term impact of the tariffs and what they might have on our industry.
The Chinese tariffs will include a levy of 15% on U.S. products like chicken, wheat, and corn, as well as a 10% tariff on products like soybeans, pork, beef, and fruit. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow down 345 at 42,456, so the Dow's down almost a full percent. NASDAQ hit hard, down almost 4%, more than 3.5% right now, and the S&P's down more than 2%. Your weather for today, you'll need the rain gear on and off, cloudy skies, scattered showers. Some of those showers could be heavy at times, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Your afternoon high right there around 56. Speaking of rain, all this week, Paulding County is going to be encouraging everybody to be prepared for potential flooding.
Monday, EMA Deputy Director Eve Cogsdale says they'll be offering info about Ready Kids. Tuesday, it's all about not driving in floodwaters.
It only takes 6 inches of water to sweep you off your feet, and then 2 feet of moving water can carry away a full-size car.
Cogsdale says info about the types of floods will be taught and offered on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, it's all about learning to communicate during a flood and get flood insurance. Daphne Young, 95.5 WSB.
Happening now, the man accused of killing 8 people at several Metro Atlanta spas back in 2021 in court for a motions hearing. The hearing in Fulton County, where Robert Aaron Long pleaded not guilty. He's already serving 4 life sentences after pleading guilty to 4 murders at Young's Asian Massage Parlor in Cherokee County. The Trump administration is launching a new self-deportation app for illegal immigrants. The CBP Home app allows those in the United States illegally to notify the government about their intent to leave the country. Customs and Border Protection says this provides illegal immigrants the chance to leave before facing harsher consequences. CBP Home is a repurposing of the app from the Biden administration that allowed migrants to schedule appointments at U.S. ports of entry. And Volkswagen is recalling more than 177,000 vehicles this morning because they could catch fire. This recall impacting some 2024-25 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport utility vehicles. The engine cover could come loose and come in contact with hot surfaces, sparking a fire. Volkswagen says letters will be sent to people who are impacted about this recall on April 18th. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams. He has a look at your roads.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Soggy out there, and a few crashes we're monitoring. One hopefully going to be off to the right soon. It's in the right lane, 75-85 southbound, just below University Avenue, exit 244. Brief slow zone there. Crash still off to the right in Morrow, 75 northbound, Mount Zion Boulevard, exit 231. Southbound, you're seeing the brake lights, not because of a crash, just volume, though, heading through Stockbridge from Highway 138 as you make your way down past Hudson Bridge Road. And also some brake lights out of Gwinnett, just left over from the morning commute, 85 southbound, sluggish, 316 down toward Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Cloudy skies with off and on rain showers through the afternoon, high 56. The rain tapers off just in time for the ride home this evening. Clear and cool tonight, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, the sunshine returns, much warmer, high 73. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, high 75.
46 degrees in Johns Creek and Canton. Fairburn has 45 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I want this town to be near you.
Just caught me yawning on the WSB live feed at WSB. Don't blame me. It's the time change in the weather. The combination of them has left me sleepy and groggy. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show at 11:04. 30 minutes from now, Deborah's going to give away a pair of tickets to see the Outlaw Fest, Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show. We got an update. Sad or closure. I don't know how you want to frame this. For the family of that missing Lake Oconee boater found yesterday afternoon. We'll check back in with Alexis Stevens from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution on that developing local story. I got to look at I don't want to do this. You know what? We're already in a sleepy, bad mood. Let's take a look at the markets. Oh, Nelly. NASDAQ getting pummeled right now, down 663 points. That's 3.67%. By comparison, the Dow's only down 330. That's less than a point drop. S&P 500 down 2 percentage points, 115 points. Uncertainty is not the friend of Wall Street. Bob Dole, not Bob Dole. He's no longer with us. Bob Dole is the CEO at Crossmark Global Investments.
Tariffs are the big item, but there's also a question, will the economy, maybe as a result of tariffs, weaken, given us job problems, the consumer slowing, are tariffs inflationary? All this creates uncertainty, which consumers, investors, markets hate.
Yeah, President Trump aboard Air Force One yesterday talking about the tariffs and the impact on the economy.
I think the tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country. It's going to make our country rich again.
So he says we'll be all right. There's going to be a bump in the road. Just, don't be rash. I think Sabrina had the story. Long-term investors, just don't even worry about it. Don't try to time the market, and hopefully everything will correct itself. It's easier said than done, right? Especially if you're right at retirement age. If you're about to hang up whatever you do in your career and you're looking at your 401ks and your IRAs, you're like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this. Let's continue our team coverage of the market moving and the tariffs. Elena Treen, moments ago outside the White House.
Well, look, it's clear. One, the president refused to rule out not only high prices being an impact of his new tariff policy, but also wouldn't rule out a potential recession in the next year or so. And not only did that once, we saw him do that on Fox News yesterday, but then he also doubled down on that on Air Force One yesterday. But look, what is very clear to me is that what they are trying to do is argue that some of the downsides of his tariff policy. We're seeing the stock market fall again today. We're seeing concerns from really the global markets and also, of course, the United States trading partners on the news of what he is doing with Mexico and Canada. They're trying to argue that that is temporary. That is the argument we heard from Kevin Hassett this morning, one of the president's top economic advisors, arguing that this is going to be a temporary phenomenon. That is the words that he used. And he also tried to argue that the broader economic agenda and policy that the Trump administration administration is working on, including some of those tax cuts that we know they're trying to get into that spending bill. We'll see if that passes on Friday, if there's a government shutdown that could just throw more uncertainty into all of the markets and the economy. But they're trying to argue that that will offset some of what they are seeing play out now with the negative impact to tariff policy. But I think by and large, we've heard now from several people on Wall Street. We have Goldman Sachs, we have JP Morgan, others saying that, perhaps due to this trade deficit and the tariff policy that the president is enacting, there could be a recession in the next year or so. The president would not rule that out, and really continuing to kind of insert a lot of that uncertainty we've seen with this whiplash and the stop and start tariffs, just kind of adding fuel to that fire. Pamela and Wolf.
All right, so that's Elena Treen just moments ago at the White House for CNN. Whiplash, I called it ping pong, but it's uncertainty, right? And that is what Wall Street is reacting to. Again, if you are not close to retirement age, no skin off your back, you'll be all right. But I do feel for the folks that are close to retirement, looking at the the wobbly markets, going, "Oh my goodness, what am I still doing here?" Hopefully, you have a financial person, planner that is as you get close. That's what I'm doing. As I get closer to retirement age, my financial guy's like, "We're gonna get you more in stable stuff, Aram. No, stop with the riskiness." Anyway, we'll update the markets throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. It hasn't really been the markets. People have been talking about this economy. It's been egg prices, right? That's every day we're talking about egg prices here on the Mark Aram Show. Maybe some good news. The Department of Justice, the DOJ, actually starting an investigation into major egg producers over soaring egg prices. Joining us with the story is Peter Haralambous from ABC. What exactly is this investigation all about, Peter?
Yeah, so again, this is the very early stages of an investigation by the DOJ Civil Division to see if this soaring cost of eggs is being caused by something more than just the bird flu. We've seen this outbreak of avian flu kill about 160 million chickens. That's about 15% of the chickens here in the United States. And certainly that's contributed to this price to spike. But we've seen some whistleblower reporting. We have seen concern from lawmakers saying that there might be some corporate greed here. And we also have seen profits for the country's largest egg company skyrocket, more than 300% this quarter. So all of this is kind of contributing to this broader picture, and the DOJ at this point is looking into it. Again, very early stages, just sending out subpoenas, basic fact-finding, but, it's external pressure, and, if it's the case that there's something more here, coordination, price gouging for something as basic as eggs, that would be a pretty critical example of corporate greed. Again, egg manufacturers, though, are pushing back. They're saying that there's really nothing more to this price spike other than the avian flu.
Yeah, so Peter, they're looking for either price gouging, market manipulation, or both from these egg producers.
That's exactly right. And if it's the case that these prices are up just because there's very low supply at this point, because the bird flu and there's such massive demand, which we know is the case with eggs, nothing wrong with that. The problem would be if these companies, which have really consolidated in recent years, are coordinating to keep those prices high and to make an extra buck.
Would our listeners recognize any of, I'm going to use this term, big egg producers? Are these household names? Who produces and distributes most of the eggs in the United States? Do we know this?
That's actually a great question, because I've been kind of digging into this question, and kind of the names that come to mind with eggs aren't necessarily the names that actually are driving the market here. For example, you think of, for example, Eggland's Best. Eggland's Best is actually just kind of a franchise of eggs for various farms across the country. The real big player when it comes to eggs, the largest company in the United States, is Cal-Maine Foods. They're number one when it comes to producing and distributing, and they've found themselves in hot water in the past. They lost a jury trial, for example, in 2023 related to a civil claim, and their profits, if you look at their SEC filings, because they're a publicly traded company, have indeed skyrocketed. I mean, we've seen this quarter a 340% spike in profits, and the last time the bird flu broke out, there was a similar spike, a tripling in profits, which they directly attributed to these rising costs, largely driven by the bird flu.
It is such a topic of discussion across kitchen tables across America. We've seen Waffle House at an egg surcharge, Denny's following suit, and everything is political these days. Might we read into the fact that maybe President Trump was like, we've got to get to the bottom of this because this is not a good economic story for everyone to be talking about? Do we think that that Trump nudged the DOJ and be like, hey, find out what's going on here?
I mean, at this point, we know there's immense political pressure related to these egg prices. This was one of the surprising driving things of the last presidential campaign, the high cost of groceries, the high cost of eggs. And there's even more pressure since those prices have continued to rise under the Trump administration. His administration has taken policy action to reduce the cost of eggs, and it seems as though this civil action, this investigation in the very early stages, is kind of checking their boxes to make sure that they're doing everything in their power to make sure these prices come down, whether it be policy-making decisions, prevention, or potentially, using the DOJ to ensure these companies are following the law.
We had reports on this, Peter, last week. I want to know if you've personally seen any bodegas in New York City selling Lucy's, 1 egg or 2 eggs at a time. Have you seen that personally yet?
I've seen a bodega selling 3 at a time. Kind of like a combo, not individually yet. So I have spoken to small businesses here in New York, and it's getting pretty dramatic in terms of how they're feeling this. One small business I spoke to, an owner of a diner not too far from our offices here in New York, is spending $70,000 more based on his calculations this year on eggs because of those soaring costs.
Wow, that is significant. Peter Haralambous, ABC News. Peter, great stuff as always. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks so much, Mark. Take care.
Just to show you how the egg prices have changed my purchasing habits, it's been years since I went to the omelet station at brunch on a Sunday. Because why? I can make omelets at home. I went to the omelet station on brunch yesterday because, what a deal. I can get eggs now. They're so expensive. When we come back, updating the Russia-Ukraine situation. And someone was arrested outside the White House suspected of shooting or possibly shooting toward the direction of the White House. Interesting story. We'll talk about that next on The Mark Arum Show.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Eric Erickson, Mark Arum, and Shelley Winter. No matter where you go. 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
Buckle up, friends. I've got a jaw-dropping deal from my pals at Reliable. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Check this out, folks. You can get a free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. Unbelievable. Get your free consultation by going to ReliableAir.com. That's ReliableAir.com. And check it out. Next day installation guarantee, or they pay you $500. Free furnace with the purchase of a qualifying air conditioner. ReliableAir.com.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is Amco Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in Amco just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to Amco.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, sufficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned Amco near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA.
MCO.
11:19 on the Mark Arum Show. Checking delays downtown. Let's say hello and good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Yeah, watching this crash on the jam cam. It's in the right lane, 7585 southbound, just below University Avenue, exit 244. Luckily, only causing a tap of the brakes there. Earlier crash, 75 northbound in Morrow, Mount Zion Boulevard, exit 231. That's totally cleared, but southbound, you're seeing some brake lights through Stockbridge, leaving Highway 138 down toward Hudson Bridge Road. Don't forget, they got Sidney Marcus Boulevard westbound completely shut down right under Georgia 400 from that crash over the weekend that brought down some power lines, so traffic is being rerouted there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
52 years ago today, Pink Floyd released their album Dark Side of the Moon in the U.S. through Capitol Records. The album would be released in the U.K. 2 weeks later. Deborah, I'm going to say 3% of folks listening right now, this is their most played album of all time. Is that high or low, do you think?
I think it might be a little bit low. The amount of requests we get for Pink Floyd on the River is, yeah.
All right, so I'm low. All right, I was trying to lowball. I was trying to Price is Right it. So even more, that might be the most played album of all of our listeners right there. We're old, 52 years ago. Did you ever do the Pink Floyd movie matchup with
Wizard
the Wizard
of
of Oz?
I did.
Yeah, did it work out for you?
Yeah.
I never
Dark
did
Side
that.
of the Rainbow.
Dark Side of the Rainbow
Yeah,
is called. I did notice, it had nothing to do with Pink Floyd, but did you ever see, it might be urban legend, that someone hung themselves behind that? I did do that with the Wizard of Oz. Don't do that with the grandkids this weekend.
I've showed it to the girls. I say, see that thing in the background?
Oh, there goes your Dad of the Year card for you. Deborah, while I have you, update the suspected shooter in front of the White House. What went down up in D.C. this weekend?
Yeah, so the Secret Service got a tip that an unwell person was heading towards the White House. It doesn't say how they got this information, but they did. So they went to check it out. They found an empty vehicle that matched description, and they eventually found a man. He was standing near the White House. He had a weapon with him, and they tried to approach him, which kind of led to a confrontation, and they did end up shooting him. I don't know the condition of him. He was taken to the hospital, but they didn't give a statement on further of what happened to the man. No other injuries happened, though.
Do we know
but
if
they were able to intercept him not too far from the White House.
Do we know if the president was there? Because I know he was in Mar-a-Lago for part of the weekend. Do we even know if the president was in the White House when this went down?
Well, this was Sunday. If this was Sunday, but he was in Mar-a-Lago Saturday, I don't think the president was there. It doesn't say that he. No, it says he officially was out of town.
He was out of town. Okay, all right. So crisis averted. I can only imagine what the Secret Service is doing right now, trying to keep him safe, and especially he's been back golfing. It just hasn't been in the news. He's been golfing every weekend. And I know that was extra pressure on them, with the wide open spaces. Speaking of Mar-a-Lago, is there a plane story down Mar-a-Lago way that we need to pay attention to?
Yeah, Air Force fighter jets had to there was a civilian aircraft flying over Mar-a-Lago. Now they've suspended that airspace for everything that's happened with Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago and everything. So they've had to intercept a civilian aircraft.
That's crazy. So they had to scramble fighter jets because it's restricted airspace. Pretty much wherever the president goes is restricted airspace. When the president comes to town. For campaign stops or whatever, you can't fly any planes anywhere around it. So some jackwagon didn't realize it and was like, doo-doo-doo-doo. And then can you imagine you're flying one of those little tiny planes?
Yeah, and they come over
and
the radio.
All of a sudden, you got these fighter jets going past you. Insane. I am looking forward to the flyover at Truist Park for the home opener. That's one of the cool when you're standing for the national anthem, and then right at the end, those from Dobbins, the fighter jets go over. That's one of the coolest things in sports. I absolutely love that. All right, thank you, Deborah. I mentioned earlier, Secretary of State Marco Rubio heading to Saudi Arabia ahead of tomorrow's talks between the U.S. and Ukraine on ending the war in Ukraine. Stefan Sustanovich is a former U.S. State Department ambassador at large and for the former Soviet Union. He's also a senior fellow for Russian and Eurasian Studies at the Council of Foreign Relations. Explains more on how each side is approaching the negotiating table, U.S. and Ukraine.
The Ukrainian goals are a little different. They want to sign this minerals deal that was supposed to have been signed by Trump and Zelensky last 10 days ago. They want to get a resumption of military and intelligence aid, and they want to find out how the U.S. is approaching these talks with the Russians. They want a little more transparency.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to be transparent about. If you were Vladimir Putin and everything's going in your direction right now, why would you even want to negotiate a peace? That's going to be the toughest part of this, is trying to find something that will get Putin to the negotiation table. President Trump mentioned more sanctions, maybe tariffs, freezing of assets. I don't know. Russia is dominating now. Why would they want to come to the table and end this? Speaking of tariffs, this just popped a headline. U.S. liquor sales could soon see 50% European Union tariffs. What booze is Europe sending? Are we sending to Europe? Jack Daniels? What liquor does the U.S. manufacture? I can only think of bourbon and whiskey.
Yeah, it might be bourbon and whiskey.
Are we making tequila here, or is that still all... Ooh, I didn't even think of tequila tariffs. Jeez Louise. That will not impact me. I don't touch the stuff. All right, so Kentucky's bourbon industry facing a string of Canadian tariffs, and now maybe 50% alcohol tariffs to the European Union. Tariff ping pong. Donk, 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 back and forth, back and forth. News, weather, and traffic. We'll come back in depth on the top local story. The missing boater, Lake Oconee, found yesterday. Alexis Stevens from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution gives us the story next on The Mark Arum Show.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Thanks. Got my seat cushion, crossword puzzle, and can't forget the hand sanitizer. Okay, show me the waiting room.
No need for all that. You can stay in your car.
I'll stay in my car? Get out.
Yep, you stay in. It'll just be 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out.
Go ahead, sit back and relax.
Well, I guess I'll save all this for the DMV. If only they took 10 minutes, am I right? I'm sorry.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors. Like ones that inspire a sense of wonder. Or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter. Or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. At home or at work, we'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
See some of the latest cars, trucks, SUVs, EVs, golf carts, plus collector's cars and more at the 43rd Annual Atlanta International Auto Show, March 20th through 23rd at the Georgia World Congress Center. Visit GoAutoShow.com for more information and tickets.
It won't be that long before school gets out. And if you're thinking about buying a new home this summer, now is the time to get the ball rolling. This is Scott Slade. My friends at MyLand always recommend getting pre-approved before starting to shop for your next home. Make sure you know how much you can afford and have your financing ready to make an offer when you find your dream home. MyLand is who I recommend for all home financing needs, whether it's a second mortgage, cash out refinance, or purchase of a new home. They even have a great new product that allows you to qualify for an investment or rental property without personal income documents. Whatever type of mortgage you need, MyLand will close your loan fast without issues and headaches and make sure you have the best rate in town. Call MyLand. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Online, it's myland.com. Spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage Licensee 148769, located at 8995 West Side Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. MyLand is an equal housing lender.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. Let's start with your pocketbook. What's going on with the price of eggs? The Justice Department's looking into that. Justice correspondent Scott McFarland saying that a Midwestern agriculture group watchdog called Farm Action filing a request now for an investigation.
It's unclear, though, if this is going to be a large-scale Department of Justice investigation or whether this is just a response to the Farm Action Group's complaint. We do know, though, from our reporting that Farm Action organization requested the Biden administration do its own investigation as early as January 2023, when it was viewed then as an egg price that was too high.
And here in Georgia, egg prices averaging just over $5 a dozen. Your weather for today, cloudy with scattered rain showers. Some of those rain showers could be heavy at times, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Afternoon high right there around 56, but big changes are on the way. The Atlanta-based CDC saying the flu season appears to have peaked now. It's estimated that since the start of October, some 40 million people have come down with flu. More than 500,000 ended up in the hospital this year. 22,000 people died from influenza. And Alpharetta Daycare closing its doors for good 7 months after a new teacher was charged with child molestation.
A state agency confirms Kids Are Kids Web Bridge is closing of their own volition. The license was denied after Tulsi Patel's arrest. Attorney John Bay represents families of 4 alleged victims.
We're glad that it doesn't happen in the future, but with respect to their case, there's still a lot to be done.
Patel faced similar accusations at a previous school which did not report her. Bay says Kids Are Kids failed to supervise her just 2 weeks on the job.
What I worry about is these teachers will now go to other facilities and the parents won't even know.
Kids Are Kids' COO says their franchisee did everything possible to prevent this tragedy. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
There are dozens of casualties after an oil tanker and a cargo vessel collide off the British coast in the North Sea. That's according to multiple reports. The tanker belongs to the U.S., while the container ship is from Portugal. Video shows the ship's on fire as black smoke rises into the air. President Trump saying he wants to finish a border wall by the end of his second term. In Texas, Terrell County Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland says this should not be controversial.
President Bush, President Obama, and President Trump, they all built border walls.
Work is now underway for a new 18-foot tall border wall in a rural part of South Texas near the tip. The Border Patrol saying on social media that it will replace the current 6-foot tall guardrails. Let's take a look at the market. It's been a rough day already. The Dow down 356 at 42,445. So the Dow's down almost a full percent. NASDAQ is down more than 3%, and the S&P is down almost 2%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
And a big mess forming on the west side perimeter heading toward the airport, Sabrina. All lanes being held right now for a widely scattered crash. 285 southbound, the outer loop below Highway 166, Langford Parkway exit 5. They're starting to open 2 left lanes. That means 2 right lanes are going to stay blocked. Think about taking 75-85 southbound toward the airport is your alternate to avoid that, because an earlier crash on 75-85 southbound below University Avenue has cleared, so those delays have cleaned up nicely just south of I-20. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Cloudy with off and on rain showers today. Some will be heavy at times, high 56. The rain tapers off for the ride home this evening and cooling down tonight, lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, much warmer, high 73. Wednesday, partly cloudy, morning low 44, afternoon high 75.
Cloudy skies, light rain, 45 degrees in Brookhaven. It's 46 in Vinings. Decatur has 45 degrees. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
The recovery operation of a missing father in a high waters.
That's the voice of the man that recovered the missing boater on Lake Oconee yesterday. We'll continue our coverage of this local story. Alexis Stevens from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution next on the Mark Arum Show. Anything better when the temperatures drop and it's freezing outside and you're nice and toasty inside? I can't wait. Hey, it's Mark Arum, back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing furnace offer going on right now. $59.99 a month. That's it for any size furnace. And ask about their clean air upgrades. Stay warm and toasty with my friends at Reliable Air. Schedule your free consultation today by visiting reliableair.com. That's reliableair.com.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
Healthy, beautiful skin can be yours with Olansky Dermatology. Their expert team offers personalized care for medical, Mohs, surgery, and aesthetic skincare needs. Schedule 24/7 online with their coming Roswell or Buckhead locations, including new evening and Saturday hours in Buckhead. With 40 years of excellence and over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, trust Atlanta's top-rated dermatology practice. Visit OlanskyDermatology.com or call today. Olansky Dermatology and Aesthetics, where everyone deserves healthy skin.
Get ahead of your spring cleaning this month and call the pros at Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning to remove the dust, pollen, and debris from your home. Take advantage of Zero Res's spring sale going on now. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. That is right, $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Just tell them I sent you, or use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
Don't miss your chance to take advantage of the buy two, get two free and pay nothing until 2027. Offer ending soon, only from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2.
Going to get to our top local story in just a second, but I don't know how she did it. Deborah went to the prize closet, found another pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival with Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan and many more. July 25th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater. Lil Gnocchi, who makes $20,000 more than Longoria and myself, going to put you to work today, buddy. 33rd caller to 404-872-0750. 33rd caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Festival featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and more. July 25th at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. Speaking of the show, we've been covering this sad local story for a month now. Continue our coverage with Alexis Stevens from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The missing boater found yesterday afternoon on Lake Oconee. Two ways to look at this story, Alexis. One, you feel awful either way for the family. They were holding out hope that Greg was still going to be found alive somewhere, but also that maybe now the family has some closure now that his body has been found.
That's the hope, Mark, but there's still just so many unknowns and so many unanswered questions about how both of them ended up in the water. There's just still so much that we don't know.
What do we know? The body of Gary Jones was found yesterday afternoon, I believe. How was he discovered?
So there were an extra search party that had been brought in at the request of his family, and he was found in about 45 feet of water, about 100 yards, I'm told, from where his fiancee, Joy Wilson, had been located. It was an area that had been searched many times. I'm told just from the conditions of the water and how deep he was in and the debris underneath that may have delayed searchers from being able to find him.
Yeah, I mean, when you have these man-made lakes that we have here in Georgia, there's so much stuff on the bottom and the murkiness of the water. The fact that he was so deep, 45 feet, that explains why it was such a long search effort to recover him. And this after, his fiance's body was recovered much earlier. Does this end any speculation? Because listen, a story like this captures the attention of everybody. And there were thoughts that, well, maybe he's still alive or not necessarily something nefarious, but maybe there was hope that he would be found somewhere. That this obviously ends that speculation.
It definitely does. And I think there was always hope and prayers that he would be found alive. However, so many of his personal items were left behind, including his wallet, his tennis shoes that he had on. It just seemed like it was really going to be far-fetched for him to have been able to get away from there and to just have never been found. So it does end the speculation that perhaps he's alive. What we don't know yet is if he drowned, how they both ended up in the water. We have been told that they knew how to swim, but the water was freezing that day. So who knows what may have happened when they did hit the water. I have been told, and investigators have said, it was such a small boat and just very much not appropriate for that lake, just because of how small it was and how vast and treacherous that lake could be. So it was almost, and I do know that Mr. Jones had owned the boat for several years and it wasn't his first outing in it or anything like that. I just think it was just not an ideal situation for that boat to be on that lake.
Alexis Stevens from the AJC joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. So his fiancee, Joyce Linda Cole Wilson, was found on February 9th, a day after the incident. So it was a full month after her body was found that Gary Jones's body was found yesterday. What can you tell the listeners, if they haven't been paying close attention to the story, about Mr. Jones and Miss Wilson?
By all accounts, they were just a wonderful couple. They plan to marry next Saturday, March 14th. They were both educators. Ms. Wilson was a longtime math instructor at Spelman, and Mr. Jones taught physics at the Westminster Schools in Atlanta and was also a track and field coach. By all accounts, just dedicated to their students, loved their job. I spoke to a friend of Joy's recently who said they were like copies of each other. They were like the perfect couple because they shared their love of educating and just their students. They were dedicated to what they did, and both are truly going to be missed, already are by all of the students and the communities that they've left behind.
Yeah, one of the more touching, heartbreaking pieces of your article on AJC.com was he was found in his Westminster Wildcats shirt, like he was wearing his school shirt. That was a gut punch, like, because I know the school has been, torn apart emotionally as the search goes on. The sheriff heading up the investigation said 29-day search was the longest rescue recovery that he's ever been involved with in his half century in law enforcement. What happens now with the investigation? Do we get any inclination from the sheriff where this goes from here?
I'm expecting the GBI Crime Lab to conduct an autopsy on Mr. Jones, which is standard. They did the same thing for Ms. Wilson. Those results of her autopsy have not yet been finalized or released to the public. Sills has obviously seen those, and I'm sure her family has as well. I'm thinking from there, if they can get more information on what happened to Mr. Jones, maybe they can piece some of that together better than what we know right now. The Sheriff Sills has said that when Miss Wilson was located, it was not simply a drowning investigation. She was actually more floating on the water as opposed to him being 45 feet down. So I'm hoping the autopsy on him will lend some more answers, but there is a very good possibility that we will be speculating on this for some time.
Since his body was recovered, final question for you, Alexis, can we rule out foul play, or the sheriff's not going that far yet?
He's not going that far yet, and that would be just a lot of speculation on his part until, particularly imagining that this body had been underwater for so long. They're really going to wait for a medical examiner to go in and see what other signs there may have been, if there was indication of some type of medical emergency or some other kind of trauma or something like that. At this point, I think we're hoping that, if we get some answers from the autopsy, this could all end up being just a horrific tragedy. Yeah. It's just hard to say at this point.
Alexis Stevens, Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Alexis is on Twitter, X at Alexis News. Very emotional story to cover. I certainly understand, Alexis, but thank you so much for your time and your insight.
Thank you, Mark.
Saddest part is they were supposed to be married this week. And I can only imagine what's going on at Westminster School. The students there, he was the coach. They were active participants in the search for this month. But I guess best case scenario is they get some sort of closure here. Sad end to that story. Hey, congrats to Cynthia and Ella J. She won a pair of tickets to see the Outlaw Festival. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and others, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show. Quick break. We'll come back, update our top local stories next on 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
I've got a sense of humor.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
The driver of this vehicle is a better human being than you are.
He's Eric Von Hessler.
I'm here to tell you the truth.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Termites eat 24/7, and your home is in their path of destruction. Scott Slade here for Breda Pest Management. You want a complete barrier from Breda, not a bait station. If your current service only inspects the outside, how do you know that the inside of your home is termite-free? Breda is better at beating termites. Only Breda inspects and protects the outside and inside. Plus, your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
How easy is it to save energy and money in 30 seconds? Let's count the ways. Power down unused devices. Swap out traditional bulbs for LEDs. Adjust your thermostat for the season. Change your air filter. Move furniture away from your vents. And turn off the lights when you leave a room. Georgia Power's more than just your power company. We're your saving sidekick. Get started at georgiapower.com/energy efficiency today. Ready, set, save.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
No more messing around, fellas. One-day treatment and your life will be changed forever. It's Mark Arum back from my friends at Advanced Hair. What makes them different? They combine science and technology to give you back your own natural growing hair. Not a pill or a lotion that helps you retain what you have. Instead, Advanced Hair offers the proven guaranteed solution that regrows your hair where it's currently gone. One-day treatment and life-changing results. How else can you change your life in one day in a positive way? If you want to get your hair back, now's the time. Advanced Hair is the place. An amazing facility, amazing staff, and amazing results. It takes just one visit, but first you need a free consultation. So schedule now, 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. And if you move forward, you get $250 off plus 250 free grafts. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or consumercellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
11:50 on the Mark Arum Show. Not one, but two travel advisories heading to the airport live with the latest. Alex Williams.
First one's going to be 285 southbound, the outer loop between Langford Parkway, Highway 166, exit 5, and Canton Creek Parkway, exit 2. Only two left lanes, I should say, are open with this crash. You can take 75-85 southbound as an alternate, but heads up, this is where we got travel advisory number 2. It's 75 southbound, just below Cleveland Avenue, exit number 241. 3 right lanes are blocked there. You can use the access road or, again, I-85 southbound through East Point and College Park as your alternates. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
You never know when inspiration's going to hit. I just found that out during the commercial break. It wasn't during the ED ad. It was during another ad where inspiration hit. And I'm gonna change the lives of 500,000 Atlantans listening right now. I just came up with a brilliant idea, Longoria. You might remember I talk often, lovingly, about my first ever trip on Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
This was back in the late 70s. Parents put me on the plane, Delta out of Hartford, flew down to Fort Lauderdale, visit my grandparents. And that was back in the day when everyone got food. I was back in coach, but I got breakfast. And the most delicious eggs, I loved them so much. and they were powdered eggs. I'm going to change everyone's life right now.
Okay.
Forget about Hannity's Patriot bucket. Right? There's no eggs in Hannity's Patriot. But I had this moment during the commercial break. Well, I wonder with egg prices going so high, why don't we just pivot to powdered eggs? So I went on Amazon. This is amazing. You're welcome. You're welcome. I know you're going to thank me. You can get 144 servings, a powdered egg bucket. Now, the bucket doesn't sound appealing, right?
Oh, my gosh.
But 144 servings of eggs. What's an egg serving? Two? 2 eggs is a serving, probably, right?
Sure.
So 288 eggs for only $159. That's got to be a deal, right?
Yeah.
And you have to worry about them going bad. You got a bucket of eggs wherever. Or if you only need 72 servings, you can get the Ready Wise. This doesn't come in a bucket. Simple Kitchen, powdered eggs, 72 servings, $70. Now, I got to do the math. I don't know if eggs are that expensive. But if there's a shortage, like, oh, no, the grocery store's out of eggs. What am I going to do? Hey, Jimmy, go get the powdered bucket eggs.
Yeah, powdered bucket eggs. That sounds
And there's
so
a lot
horrible.
of them here. And you don't have to buy the buckets. Let's see.
Yeah.
How about
There's
this? Oh,
pouches.
Wow. Freeze-dried whole powdered eggs. 10-bag bucket.
What's up with the bucket?
I don't know. That's
the easiest way to hold powdered egg?
$225. Or you can get a scrambled egg mix from our friends at Augustin Farms. Pasteurized scrambled egg mix can, 57 servings, $55. You want nutrient survival eggs, vitamin powdered eggs. They've got them on Amazon. Freeze-dried prepper supplies is the name of it.
Okay.
70 eggs, $70. So it's looking like here's the downside on this. You can't if you come down to make your daughter's breakfast in the morning, like Daddy, I want sunny side eggs. You got to be a bad dad. You
can be like, no, it's scrambled only.
You can't. Yeah, it's a
recession, baby. Come on.
These are Sean Hannity scrambled powdered eggs. Oh, there's a healthy version. Healthier Comforts whole egg powder. Gluten-free, ready to eat, pasteurized. $20. There's a lot of these. I just solved the problem. Now, Deborah, I don't bake. I know that you're the official baker. You bake us such delicious treats. Can you substitute eggs in making us a chocolate cake or something with powdered eggs, or that's a no-go?
I mean, I have used powdered eggs in the past, but I do think it tastes different. There's something off when I've used powdered eggs before.
I need to get on board with this. I'm going to go. I like it's not in a bucket. Simple Kitchen, powdered eggs, 72 servings, 60. I need to do like an Erickson, use code word Aram and get 4 free yolks or something, I need that. I think I just solved the egg shortage problem. We have all these powdered eggs, and they don't go bad. I don't like the bucket, though. I don't want to get anything in a bucket.
I don't know why the bucket.
Eggylicious, whole egg powder. That's not really. That's just for like if you're doing protein shakes or whatever. Is that a good solution?
That would be a good solution.
Is it worthy of star of the show, or?
It is. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah,
as long as you're not allergic to powdered eggs.
They're so. I mean, granted, I had them when I was 8, but I remember them being so delicious.
Instant mashed potatoes, same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Inspiration hit, boom, just like that. Powdered eggs, they're delicious. The only downside is you can't do the sunny side up or over easy. But your kids, they're scrambled eggs, kids. The Smiths next door don't have eggs. Ha! You can have 2 servings of powdered dry eggs. All right, you're welcome. That's all I do is help people. Quick update in D.C. The House expected to vote tomorrow on a GOP-crafted spending bill would avoid a week-long government shutdown at the end of the week. Stephen Portnoy, a buddy from ABC, with the latest.
Beyond a few tweaks cutting some domestic spending and boosting it at the Pentagon, the bill mostly keeps government agencies funded at their current levels. But House Democrats, who typically vote to avoid shutdowns, say they won't be on board this time because there's nothing in the bill to prevent future DOGE-related cuts. Should it pass on a party-line basis in the House, at least 8 Democrats in the Senate would have to sign on to break a filibuster and avoid a Friday night shutdown.
Oh, great. We have that to look forward to. Eat your powdered eggs. Doesn't matter if the government's shutting down.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, today's Mario Day. Did you know that? Since it's March 10th, it spells out Mario. And the character we all know as Mario was originally named Jumpman. The character was designed as a protagonist for the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong.
I remember playing Mario Brothers. I enjoyed it back in the Nintendo, right? It was Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo.
I was not very good at that game. I was better at the sports games. But I'm going to officially say that is the dumbest national day of the year. Mario Day.
It's March 10th.
Yeah, I understand. You don't have to, but that's dumb.
Okay.
That's just dumb.
It's been like that for a long time.
If you're going to give a day to a video game, it's got to be Pac-Man, right?
Yeah, but nothing spells out Pac-Man.
What does it matter?
We don't have a month that starts with a P.
That's stolen valor right there. Okay. I understand Mario's importance in video game history.
Right.
Pac-Man crawled so Mario could jump. I think you got to honor
Jumpman.
Yeah, exactly. It's called a callback. I think you got to honor Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man's better.
We're all about equity and inclusion. Pac-Man, Miss
It's International Women's Month this year, so Miss Pac-Man.
Someone just punched their radio when I said we're all about equity and inclusion. All right, good job, Longoria. I'm not a fan of Mario Day though.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum star of the show?
All right, another great idea. Mark Arum, powdered eggs. Egg problem solved, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. We don't have to import them from Turkey no more. We got the buckets. We're fine. I'm getting one. How about Alexis Stevens from the AJC? Always a pleasure to talk with her, even on a sad story like today. Karen Travers joined us from the White House from ABC News. Alexander Tin from CBS got us caught up to date on the measles outbreak. Eric Erickson, great stuff as always. He gets a star of the show. Managing editor of Bloomberg, Lynn Doan, about the possible sale of TikTok. Rory O'Neill gave us an update on the sad story of Gene Hackman's passing and his wife. And Peter Haralambous, speaking of eggs, talked about egg prices and the DOJ investigation. I wish I had that thought when we had Peter on. Then he'd be doing a network report. Breaking news. Aram says powdered eggs, the key to the egg shortage. Anyway, he gets a star of the show. No, Gnocchi makes more than me, and he's better looking than me. So, Longoria, you get one for belated birthday. Thanks. Social media is active at Mark Aram.